Hello everyone, I'm back with CPL action. It's Saetzero, not the blind to this time. We've casted him enough, I've shunned him to the side. I'm just kidding, he's busy tonight. But I got someone else with me, it's Forte. How you doing?
Hello, my good people. How are you all tonight?
I'm doing good, I'm tired. It's been a long day, but it's never too long a day for some StarCraft, am I right?
Totally. Absolutely.
Yeah, it's gonna be a good time. We got some tier 1 games between GOSU, those crazy unicorns with the name so long I can't actually fit it in our descriptions, and the United Emu Directorate. So Neblime's here in spirit. His team will be represented. You know, it's not the tier 0. We're not gonna see him personally. That's completely fine. But we're gonna have a good time though. Just waiting for SEX to come in with the caster command that I don't know how to edit. It's not a big deal. We got 5 matches ahead of us with a little variety of the matchups. I think we got a decent amount of PvZ. So maybe PvZ is the matchup of CPL. But either way, we had a lot of great games yesterday. So if you didn't see that stream, make sure you check out the VOD. It was a good time. Some very dramatic stuff. If you're not a fan of TVT, you can skip the last one. it was long, but it was still good. It's still worth the watch. We're going to get in for our first set today between *Cenderze and Vermin.
I love TVT. What's not to like?
You're fucking Terran players, man. You all say that crap. You guys are crazy. Well,
I think it's relaxing.
I think you're drunk. Alright, we're at week 5, so starting on Polypoint. In the bottom right, in the gray Protoss, it's Cenderze. In the top left, in the magenta of Zerg, it's Vermin. So, dude, why do you like TVT? It's just a nightmare. Do you actually play it properly before you answer that? Or do you just I like it because I just go 5 factory vultures and the game's over in 7 minutes regardless?
Well, I'll throw out a quick disclaimer. I'm not good at it, but I like it. No, I just try to do 3 factory vulture stuff, and I've been messing around with this Tank Goliath opener, and I don't know, the game flow is just so much different from the other matchups. It's such a slower, more methodical pacing. Feels like a chess game.
Yeah, that's a fair comparison, I suppose. But still, it's... I like the other mirrors a lot more. Partially because I enjoy playing them more. But it's it's so on a nice edge of you lost this battle or you're about to get overwhelmed. It's not, oh, you lost this hill? It's over. It doesn't look over, but trust me, it's over.
Yeah, it's definitely the only matchup where territory becomes a significant factor in play. Just holding territory makes a big deal in the game, and I like that.
No, I'd say there's other matchups where it is, but definitely the most important there. So it is a different flavor, I'll give you that. See, I'd rather StarCraft 2 TVT. That's got a lot of shit going on. I'd rather watch that if I have to watch TVT. I'll go watch Maru beat up people.
Man, I haven't seen anything StarCraft 2 since halfway through Heart of the Swarm. I have no idea what the meta is.
It's actually insane. If you like StarCraft, and especially if you like high action games, you don't have to know what's going on anymore. It's still worth watching G.O.S.U recently, and oh, this is interesting. It should get canceled. This can't be real because we know from the timings it was an overpull opening, so you're gonna have links there. This is a big investment early on. I don't think you want to be committing to this. Probe goes in, does confirm spawn pool, just finishing up, so waiting for that pile to get canceled. We're getting the Forge expand, 1 can being made, which I mean, there's not that many lanes being made, and with the investment of that little pylon just be annoying. It's I don't know how much I actually love that. It's not going to delay the Nexus any significant amount, but this cannon, there's only 2 lanes being made, lots of drones behind it. It's just, Cenderze's not getting maximum value, and you got cross map. You got extra time if you need it. There's that Nexus going down though. Not too bad.
Still, yeah, just with 2 Zerglings out, he's going for the economical approach, and the hatchery at the 3rd wasn't delayed too terribly, which is okay. But the Nexus, I'm not sure if that was exactly on time.
It's close enough. It's fine.
Okay.
Now
yeah.
see, I think doing that pylon block, it's cute and it's annoying, and it guarantees the block, right? But unless you take the probe to the 3rd also, and really trying to block the crap out of it, they know they're not going to be able to get it, so they just go, alright, I have to go to the 3rd. They make the decision so quickly, it doesn't really make much of a difference.
Yeah, I have a hard time justifying it. Or I did when I was a Zerg player. The transition is just a nice quick sleight of hand. And the mineral cost, I think, from Protoss side is what, 25? Because you get 75% back for a cancel, I think.
Yeah, yeah. Like the cost isn't that bad. It's just it is still money that you're losing for. You're not really getting anything done. It's not like being cute. It's not like if you put it in a weird spot that wouldn't block, which like you want to fake the cannon rush or something. Maybe you can do some kind of crazy stuff. It's just never really going to get you any kind of value other than just being annoying. Which if that's what you want to do, just do it.
It's the gimmicks of the game, man. Like, it's just what Protoss players do. It's like trying to find a nice parking spot, and then you find one, and it looks so good, and it's close to where you're going. You go to park, and all of a sudden there's a clown there. He just goes, ho ho, and he honks his horn. Like, no, you're not parking there. I kind of feel like that's, that's kind of what it's like.
How dare you call pros clowns? How dare you? You're an animal. That's fine. Like, Vermin's doing a good job blocking his pro from getting in there with the one drone, which I don't know how much I like that, but it does. You are trying to get that info stopped. Seeing that is a lair opening instead of being a Hydra. You can represent. The pro has to kind of respect it. The scouting pro still doing a good job staying alive. And back at home, still blocking up that wall for a pretty good while, even though we haven't seen links being made. So I'm very surprised to see still the commitment to make sure nothing can run by when your probe has been there. You know nothing's been made. You should be in a good spot here. But nothing looks too weird here. We got the Stargate on the way as well. No +1 just yet. And back at the Zerg base, we got Spire. We'll see if they take a second guess, or it looks like we're just kind of getting standard openings from both sides this game.
Yeah, so I'll probably expect a Scourge opening follow-up just for the Scout to go off. We'll see whether or not he wants to decide to go into Mutas. The current tech and situation, not taking the gas quite yet. Maybe it might be a transition into 5-hatch Hydra afterward.
That's what you'd expect. It's like 5 or 6 actually, whatever style they want to be going for here. But yeah, without that second gas, like mutas just aren't going to be any kind of realistic threat. Seeing a lot of drones being made, still not putting the pressure on. Sometimes you see a little decent amount of links to make sure there's no move out, which you can see that's starting to build up here, up in the front of the base. So Zini wants to move out, will be a little more annoying. Second cannon going down, but there's that first Corsair, going to really get that good scouting info. The probe did stay alive for a decent amount of time, so I think you should be able to take a halfway decent guess of what's going on here, but we'll see. Hatcheries are going down. Spire's about to finish. We'll see how many Scourge end up getting made, and if Zini wants to really lean into these Corsairs at all. Not the +1 though. I assume if you know nothing's coming, you can stop pretty quickly.
Okay, what do we got, Zerg? Both of the hatcheries are down, like you said. Hydrogen's going down. Nice Sim City formation at the natural there. Do like that. Evo Chamber at the 3rd. So yeah, looking like a very standard game from Vermin here.
Yeah, I think that's fine. Even you can see this Corsair has seen enough info. Gonna start trying to harass around, and that means it dies to the Scourge almost immediately. Not great. Second Corsair looking around, but that means there's 2 on the map. Like, don't get greedy for this Overlord. Vermin though. Ooh, he's coming in from the angle.
He's getting greedy.
Not like this.
Oh.
This hurts. This hurts my soul. Okay, hey, you working the AI, maybe going to be able to get back, but still took 1. Still making Corsairs, but has stopped production now as we're adding on gateways. Templar Archives on the way as well. And, I don't know, it feels like you're playing with fire. More Scourge beam, no!
This one will make it back home. The other one, well, that's what happens.
Yeah, you lose a bunch of Corsairs early like that, and you can see Z's not making more. I wonder, like, at what point you played Zerg before? Like, at what point do you go, you know what? I could go. Like, you say I won't. I'll do it. Like, I'll make some mutas.
In that case, you'd have to be a little bit suicidal.
I mean, like, if your opponent hasn't been making more Corsairs, like you haven't seen more fly off Zini. You got a couple kills already. Like, you can just snap a little bit here. Like, there's not gonna be cans in the main if you were like it's like just completely saying.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were talking about Protoss's perspective with more Corsair. My bad. No. Yeah, that's definitely a Mutalisk opportunity for sure.
8 health on this Corsair. It got just enough shields back to not die that 1 Scourge. That's ridiculous.
And he's gonna get that value too. He's gonna get that Overlord. Maybe even more.
Yeah, I mean, finally, if he gets some damage done, it won't be too bad. Zini is moving out, cleared out a lot of those lanes up at the front. They weren't pulled away from Vermin, so he needs to be careful here. The Overlord dies. We're about to see legs finish up pretty soon. +1's done as well. And Vermin's going for a 4th base up at 12 pretty quickly here. There's definitely an opportunity, I think, to pressure that, make sure that doesn't go up here. Vermin supply blocked at the moment, and you can see they're starting to work on real unit production. Hydras being made, but I don't know. Let's see what these Zealots want to do. I guess they don't want to move out. One DT is going to sneak out so you can find some kind of window. And we got a little bit of Zealots moving around. Just the one, just to test the water, see where it might be a good place to attack.
Okay, so he's going to be up here and find this 12 o'clock base with that one Zealot there. 2 control groups of Hydras just moving out on the map, gaining the control. Going to intercept this DT. No hits, no notification. Nice, very nice.
Yeah, but I don't think that DT is really thrilled about seeing that many Hydras rolling on through here. But you can see, Storm is done. Templar, not enough energy just yet. A couple Zealots die for free, and there's only 2 cans here. They gotta be very careful not to overextend right now. With only,
yeah,
you got the 2
if
Templar.
he just pulls back and defends for just a little bit. But I don't know, it's so many Hydralisks. Okay, there's one Storm. Alright, not too bad.
Yeah, the problem is, it's like, you're not really doing the damage you need to here, but all the cannons go down here. Zealot's not trying to engage and having to morph an Archon. Templar is being made, but they're still going to be a little bit away before the energy's ready. Forge goes down up the front, so that's going to stop the +2. Hydra's still being made here. Up at that 12, that one Zealot did get cleaned up, so it's not really getting the job done. And that DT on the map, doing nothing. This could be an opportunity, maybe. Ooh, all the stuff at the front goes down. Archon dies as well. This is going to take a lot of damage here. This does Storm.
And
this
the
one's a lot better,
Storm. Oh, that probably saved him. Up until the point that these reinforcements arrive, and then he has to find an answer for those.
Yeah, it's not looking great. it's not looking fantastic. Trying to make these cans on the way, but more Hydra coming through. There's no way these are going to end up being finished. Decent Storm, though. Good damage. That did way more than it should have. I think Vermin slacked a little bit on keeping those out there, but you can see there's just no units here. Panic making Zealots. No more Templars, so Storm will not be the option. The Archon down the bottom going to get chipped away, and this has done so much damage. And for Vermin that already have taken their 4th up at the 12, like, they are in such a good position. It's out of control. The DC's going to try to help, but there's Overlords here. What are you going to do? Maybe you can stop reinforcements, but it's like, you're not defending this base. That goes down without any resistance.
I think with the falling of the Nexus, Protoss is simply out of options here. I think we'll probably end up seeing a GG pretty soon.
That seems reasonable, right? There's like, it wasn't like going up to 8 gateways, really powering on 2 bases here. Looks like I think the attention was ZD thinking maybe they could take a 3rd reasonably soon, but Vermin attacked at just the right time, not respecting how strong these Hydras can be. They got the +1 attack, and that's going to be enough. Zini will tap out of game 1. Well done from Vermin. No giant mistakes from either side, but just standard play, and Hydras being Hydras.
Hydras being Hydras, man. SH, SH, SH.
It's the worst. It's the most annoying thing. Like, H is not even far away from your keyboard, but I think if I played Zerg, I'd move it even closer. It's like, nah, I need it to be like S. It's just,
oh, yeah, totally. I endorse moving that hotkey. For sure.
That is just brutal, though. That made my heart hurt, which that's not great going into our next map here. I think walling on butter could be a little more difficult. And it's like, if you're trying to do that strategy where it's like, maybe I want to take a 3rd really fast, maybe I want to control this Zerg. We'll see if they can execute better this game. But we're on game 2 on butter in top right, and the red Protoss is Zini in the bottom right, and that green, that weird, pale, gross, not that great green, it's Vermin.
Swamp color.
Swamp Zerg is Vermin. Sure. I mean, the only thing that comes to my mind as like Master Chief color, but he ran his armor through the wash a couple too many times. Now it's all just like desaturated.
It's lost its luster.
It has definitely lost its luster. It's whatever. Now, we do have the 2-player map. Shorter distance, you know where your opponent's going to be. We'll see if Zini wants to do something else as far as their opener wants to go. Maybe some kind of gateway, but still, even just with the known bases, immediately scouting with probe, so it makes you think it's going to be another Forge, wants to find out what they can do here. Vermin banking up their money, no overland made, 9 pull instead maybe, put the pressure on.
Yep, there it comes. Awesome, so this will be a 9 pull. Now I want to know if it's going to be 9 pull speed or 9 pull expand.
I don't think it's going to be speed. The fact that we haven't seen the gas yet is already making me kind of think that, but I think you can put yourself in a good spot. Never mind. There it is. It's cool. Just the overcheck. Good. See?
Okay.
I'm very soft committing to my statements, and we're not getting trolled for it. It seems reasonable. But
Caster's curse.
probably gonna get here, see that the pool and how much health it has. You know, you should have an idea that this is not the pool you're looking for here. So hopefully they know to make enough cannons and maybe pull some probes, whatever they need to do here to keep himself in a good spot. But honestly, Nightpool Speed can do so much damage so quickly. I'd rather, though, you just put the sticks on, maybe an opportunity to get some big damage done, and just transition out of it. I think on a map like this, you can do that pretty safely.
Yeah, definitely. The extractor trick definitely telegraphs to us that it's going to be the expand version, but he'll still get 6 Zerglings out on the map for some nice pressure and nice map control as well.
And see his probe still trying to block off, but because it's not seeing the exact timing here, we only see one cannon being made. Nothing's pulled to help like defend here. Hopefully make a second cannon, because here comes the legs, a little bit less warning that will help clear out the opening for that hatchery. And
nice pick.
Yeah, come on, legs, go. Nexus started. No second cannon. This could be dangerous. But sometimes you do see the Zergs. They you know, they waffle this a little bit. Like, do I? Don't I? I'm not sure. Maybe. So we'll see if he wants to actually commit. A couple probes getting pulled, maybe just in time to block this off. I think they should actually be pretty good here. So Zini not building the second cannon, trusting their ability to block the opening, and it looks like they're going to be pretty good here.
Yeah, with 3 probes pulled, he should be just fine. And then we'll wait to see what the transitions are for both players.
Yeah, but you can see how noise is going to be already. Zergling just committing to like getting into a nice arc. You want to try to get any kind of scouting info besides the Corsair, it's going to be pretty difficult to do so. So we'll see what we're going to see from Vermin with the kind of hidden information here. Now, because the opening is a little more aggressive with that 9 pool, I wonder if it is going to still be for a lair, or it's like, well, I'm not economically as in great of a spot. This map, this concave is so huge. Maybe 3 hatch.
Perhaps. We know one thing for sure. No probes are going to get out alive.
Probably not. I like that I'm changing the narrative. It's not CPL casters like are wrong all the time. And now it's neblime wrong all the time. And I'm channeling neblime. I'm changing the narrative. This is what you do. This is why I cast. Just to slowly it'll change the opinions of people.
I feel like somehow some blame is going to be put on me for this.
Well, no, we gotta wait for you to make a hard call and be wrong, and then, you know, welcome to the club. You got here, man. No big deal. It is gonna be that lair though, so you know, tech will be up reasonably fast. Speed for the Zergling is also on the way, so we'll see if they take a second guess this time. Maybe think about those mutas. You got all that like unpathable terrain with all these like different lanes to go through in this map. You know, mutas maybe a little bit better here, but the way that they played that first game, I think you don't even have to worry about that. And ooh, Overlord, see in the face of the Overlord showing at the Citadel first opening. With this fast lair, please take a gas, go mutas. Come on, baby. I want to see it.
Yeah, we'll just have to wait and see. Okay, down goes the Spire. Okay, that's good. If we see Vermin just do the same thing as last game, I'll be totally fine with it, because he played that game so well.
Yeah, this is interesting. It was a Citadel first, but still getting his target anyway. I don't know if it's just like the super hard bait, but given that it's a 9 pool, you get a faster layer than you're used to expecting. I think there's a real chance that it's like Scourge get here before the first Corsairs like even remotely on the map. Scouting will be pretty hard. A couple Zealots are going to move out and just force these lanes to kind of dance around, be annoying. Which, hey, if you can get any kind of presence on the map, but there's still no scouting info. Still playing completely in the dark here.
And Vermin doing a pretty good job of controlling these Zerglings. Only actually lost 1 and has been dancing around these Zealots the entire time. And meanwhile, back in his base, it looks like everything is just going according to plan. You know, we got drones going up, another hatch is up on the way. Tech producing well along the way. We'll have Scourge out in no time at all. But I am a little bit worried about this kind of fork in the tech path that Zini's chosen. He's getting legs for Zealots and Corsair at the same time. And I'm just worried that he might be a little stretched thin by the time combat comes around.
I don't think it's going to be too bad. As long as like we actually see some aggression. These 2 Zealots moving forward here. before +1, before speed, like you're not building up any kind of real critical number. Gets in a great spot, so you're gonna take the best kind of trade you're gonna get, but it didn't get you a lot of good info, right? It's not like they scouted a lot. It's not like you got a lot of drone kills or anything. And honestly, you didn't even have to force that many things to get made here. And this first Corsair's not even going for scouting info. It's actually just going straight for this Overlord here instead. So, ooh, we are seeing mutas being made. Even though there wasn't a lot of gas mined from that natural yet, still has plenty to make 5 mutas. No Scourge made, which is a little bit surprising. I think you kill that first Corsair, you put yourself in a great spot, but these Zealots didn't see anything. They're not going to know, and they're not going to tell until this first Corsair finally gets in the base. Second Corsair is a little bit behind it. Mutas are getting ready.
Yeah, so the 5 mutas pop, and they can definitely take down this Corsair, no problem. So the Scourge aren't really necessary just yet, but any additional scouting that Zerg might need, you can just do it with the Mutalisks, so it solves both those problems.
Yeah, I mean, I like still getting a Scourge, even though they're not necessary, just one-shotting that first Corsair so they don't start building up and you like figure out what you want to do from there. And this
absolutely.
This is going to force Zenny to make more Corsairs, but these mutas will get the damage they can get done, and look behind this. Building the Hydra Den, 9 drones were made, so they like this is not a heavy commitment here. Very easy, I think, for Protoss to not think about what they're really looking at here. Maybe they overcommit, make a bunch of Scourge behind this, so still an opportunity to reset this Corsair count, put yourself in a great spot. Vermin's doing just a wonderful job making Zenny kind of play anxious and a little bit in the dark.
And we have a bunch of Scourge on the way now. Lots of pairs going to be fielded, and when combined with these Mutalisks, at least at Protoss's natural, there's going to be a very hard time stopping Pro picking.
Yeah, this is gonna. The mutas are doing pretty good damage. The Corsairs are trying to match it though. Got a couple Overlord kills, pretty deep in the red at this point, and Zealots are going to start moving out. It seems there's an opportunity to get something done here, but the mutas still doing some pretty big probe damage back at home. Simpson is okay at this base, and what are these Zealots doing? They might have clicked into like some weird spot and they're just pathing like idiots. This is unfortunate. This could have been maybe better for Zenny if this wasn't happening. So look at these guys. What is this?
Wait a minute. Is this the right version of this map?
Is
that temple supposed to be there?
The chat is saying no.
I don't think that temple's supposed to be. I think that's supposed to be a ramp.
Yeah, that is exactly what it's supposed to be. See, here's the problem. I don't know why this is happening. We've seen this like multiple times throughout the season here, and I mean, the moment if you're like for us, the moment you see it, be like, "Yo, we're regaming. I'm not dealing with this." Like, what the hell is this? Like, I mean, there's a lot of changes on this map for if you're playing like one of the old versions. So it's like, if they're making a fast revision to a map, there's a reason, man. It's like you don't want to be living that.
Yeah, the changes are pretty important for a good reason. But hey, these two agreed to play on it, so they played, we'll cast.
Yeah, that is the dangerous thought process I need to like not have happen as often, because we've seen that happen. It's like, well, we agreed to play them in this order. Well, we played Stealth this week for giggles. Like, yo, bro, like, like it's on a website. We give you a map back. It's not difficult. I don't know, but we'll see in Zenny here. Those Zealots eventually were recalled. They weren't just walking into a temple forever. Vermin's starting to add on a good amount of Hydras back at home. Those upgrades looking like they're going to be finishing up pretty soon. And you can see here, with I think the amount of Corsairs being made, there's not that many Templar. Like, I think Storm's ready, but it's not like this giant overwhelming force. And there's not a whole ton of gateways, so it's like 2 base power for Zenny. It's not maybe as strong as you would think here. Vermin has kind of stopped what they're doing with the mutas at least, so you know I think the harass is kind of slowing down, but their spot still looks pretty good. If they take a 4th base reasonably soon and manage to hold it, I think things are going to be looking good here. But I'm just looking for that next step, which I think for Vermin probably should be researching lurkers, right? Like kind of get into that mid game where really annoying ground units, you have to really annoyingly deal with them.
Yeah, it'll be lurkers, and then eventually into your hive tech. But I don't even know if we'll get that far, to be honest. +1 ranged attack is already done for the Zerg Hydralisks, and we're looking at 6 hatcheries right now. It's going full blast on Hydralisks. I think we might see a repeat of game number 1 here.
Well, there are DTs here. Of course, there's cleared up, so there's no detection. So at least the DT will be able to do some pretty good damage, but it's still a lot of Hydras going through. Zini's going to keep poking forward, and with the Corsair still quite alive here, like, you're not going to get detection, so the DT is going to make Vermin kind of back off here. Storm's going down a little bit as well, so trying to do the damage they can. Moving pretty far away from the Corsairs and Templar, though, so if you move towards these Overlords, maybe Vermin can turn around and take this fight, because this is not that many Protoss forces, it's just you got to respect that one invisible dude.
14 Hydralisks were in production at one point just seconds ago. I mean, we're going to see overwhelming numbers of Hydras just press upon Protoss's forces. And, well, I imagine, yeah, with Overlord speed being halfway done, DTs aren't going to be an issue anymore. And we look back at Protoss's forces, and it just looks a little bit shallow.
Yeah, I mean, that attack definitely threw away units I don't think they could really afford to. Robo has done some working towards observers, but like this is a lot of gateways. We're up to 9 gateways now on these 2 bases. The probe count, you know, it's all right, but that natural, you can see that still never really recovered from the damage those mutants did early on. And with no attempt to take a third next base here, it's going to be on Zini. I think they got to get some real damage done, or at least secure enough space to maybe get that third in a spot where they're looking good. Looks like they are going to set for that base, but a Scourge will scout that, and Zini's going to move out on the map here. Lots of Zealots being made. Decent upgrades. 1-1. Still got some Templars and Storms ready, but there's a lot of Hydras.
Here comes the swarm.
Oh no, the units all split up here. The stuff on the left side is not going to help out at all. Good Storm, but this is too many Hydras. Like, a good Storm is not going to be enough to sway this fight. Templars are going to down. A lot of Zealots dying as well. He has a little force ready for a counterattack, but you got to actually defend his main force. These Storms do way more damage, but it's still a lot of Hydras surviving.
Yeah, and we have reinforcements already on the way for Vermin to really seal the deal and really put the nail in the coffin here.
Yeah, you can see that stuff for the counterattack over the minimap. It's not doing anything. It's just hanging out there. And Storm's starting to become less and less good. There's just not that many ground forces. And you Hydra even breaking off just to make sure that third base can't get set up at all, because there's enough Hydras here to deal with what he's got anyway. Not a big deal. So, again, Vermin getting to this mid game. I don't know if it's something with Xenia or is just Vermin really good at hitting the H key, but he comes out with these Hydras at the perfect time to just kind of roll over that Protoss army in the middle of the map.
Definitely. Superb macro timing. And not just that, but +2 weapons for missiles on Zerg. It's done. Look at that. That's about done. Lurker research is done. Producing along and still teching up and getting everything that he needs. It's very impressive.
Yeah, look at this ground force from Xenia. It's basically Templars. Like, in a sense, it's just Templars. They're moving forward. Finally, some builds get through, but Templars rage forward first instead. They don't get anything done. A little counterattack force and went to a base that does not exist. So they're not
good
getting
storm dodge.
Yeah, you can see these lurkers are going to finish up. There are observers here, so you're going to be able to see them, but you're going to be under siege here. There's only 2 cans up at the front, and still plenty of Hydras, more reinforcements as well. Is there even more storms available? Yeah, there's plenty of storms available, but that's all it is at this point. It's just nothing but storms. It's kind of crazy.
All storms. Where are you seeing the storms? I'm looking.
Oh, no. Storms, storms available. Yeah, they got that one dude. That's the hero. It's Tassadar right there. He's gonna save everybody.
That. That 200 baby right there.
Finally, these Zealots over on the bottom side gonna poke over. There's not that much defense at the natural, so maybe they can get some damage done. I think these Zealots, still under 1-1. The +2 is about to finish up. Hydra reinforcement's gonna clean that up, so no real threat there. And look at this, there's just lurkers spread out everywhere, tons of Hydras, all pretty far apart, so storms are not gonna be that great. This contain is gonna be very hard to deal with, I think, as Xenia. I think at this, some point you're gonna have to kill this gateway just to give yourself more room to move. You can see this is just gonna be a nightmare to deal with.
Yeah, we're gonna need some ranged Dragoons or Reavers or Storms or something, but those are basically Protoss's only options. And yeah, we see him taking down the gateway right here. And this move makes absolutely perfect sense. You need a lot of space to get in there on an engage, should you need to, in a split second. And with an engage on a lurker field, you can't hesitate at all, otherwise you'll just get shredded.
Yeah, I mean, even with this lurker field, if you feel the comfort to engage, the fact that it has that second layer pretty far back at this point and all the Hydras are very spread out, it's like, I don't know how you engage that and feel comfortable about it. I think it's going to be kind of troublesome either way. Dragoon range is about to finish up soon. That might be the thing we're looking for, even though there's not really a lot of Dragoons in production. And I think if you're building up that force, maybe that's what you're looking for. But you can see Storm's trying to go down, everything's spaced out, so damage is damage, but that's not going to get the job done. Vermin's got more drones, they got more army, still in a great spot, and finally taking that 4th base as well. Storm's doing what they can, but the Hydra's going to move forward, keep putting the pressure on here, and bait some of these Zealots out. You got to make sure this doesn't happen. You can't throw away anything right now, Zini, if you're going to try to break out soon.
You know, I've been peeking occasionally at the gateways for Zini, and I've seen that he's missed a few cycles, and I think that might actually make or break this game for him. It's really hard to tell with how many cycles of units could have been missing, and how many more ranged dragoons we could have right now to break out of this.
I really think the bigger problem is that Zini went for getting a lot of gateways, staying on 2 base, and it didn't really do a lot of damage. Like, couldn't break through to kill a base, couldn't force like a lot of extra investment in defense or anything. And Vermin's very comfortably taking their 4th base now, so this whole situation is really rough. A big part of that is, like, remember those Zealots over at the 3rd that were blocked by a temple. That's like, that shouldn't have been there. That would have been 4 Zealots with +1 against 1 Sunken and like Sim City maybe. Like, they might have done some big damage here. So this map difference might have actually made a very critical change in how this map was supposed to go, given how these players are playing.
Perhaps, yeah. And yeah, I definitely agree with everything you've been saying. I'm just a little bit more zoomed in, I guess, looking more on the micro aspect of things. But yeah, he's going to have to break out of this and get a 3rd base or just starve.
Well, he tried a little bit here, but lost a Templar, Archon, a couple more Zealots here. You can see in the natural, there's a couple Templar. Trying to build up a decent amount of Zealots, but when there's this many Lurkers, Zealots are going to be pretty hard to utilize. And Vermin's going to keep teching up. Queen's Nest is done. Hive on the way now, and about to finish their next armor upgrade as well to make these guys just a little bit more annoying to kill. Still ahead on the lane front, but we're not seeing any lanes up on the front area. Where is... goons are trapped, so they're killing the gateway. Nice.
Oh, that's so unfortunate. It really doesn't look like that's blocking, but yeah, that pylon diagonal to the gateway. Yeah.
Yeah, and you can see here that there's probes in the main that are not being utilized. Finally attempt to go out. So many Zealots, but like I said, a lot of Lurkers. All but 2 on the left side are basically involved in this fight. No real splash damage. Pulling the probes too. Anything you could do, I guess, but where's the observer? I don't see anything.
It's just not enough.
Yeah, it's not enough at all. So very clean 2-0 from Vermin. Looking very strong there.
Very impressive display.
Yeah, the infamous ZVP contained. That's why this matchup sucks. I don't recommend it to anybody. But it's just well done by Vermin. I can't say anything about it.
That brings us to our next matchup of players, correct?
It sure does. It's a 2-0 win for Zini. So that's GO.S.U putting one on the board for their Tier 1 players. And if you're looking to see more of how these guys do, I know earlier in the week they did cast the Tier 0 for these guys as well. I know Tier 3s are all getting claimed up to be cast later in the week. So I think week 5 you're going to see a lot of stuff cast if you're looking to keep up on how things are going as far as playoffs go. Or regular season, not playoffs. Almost there. I'm thinking like regular sports. There's NBA, there's NHL, like real, like lots of playoff action. So it's like my headspace a little bit elsewhere. But that's okay. We're at our second set. ZVZ starting on Polypoid in the bottom right. In the white Zerg, it's Cenderze. In the bottom left, in that green, that teal, it's Sloth. Is there like a meme? What is this trivia? Why do people keep saying trivia? Is there like some meme I'm missing? Am I old and out of touch now?
It's me. I did a thing with one of my streams. I started doing trivia with people like in the early stages of the games because there's not much to talk about. And now it's all they can think about.
Oh, hit me. Hit me with the trivia.
Oh yeah, y'all want some trivia? I'm not looking at the Twitch chat, so I can't really see.
No, hit me with the trivia. I gotta feel the experience.
Oh boy. All right. I did come with some prepared, so.
Oh, you want a showman.
All right, Saetzero, let's see how much you know. Question number 1. This refers more to the hidden aspects of StarCraft. What is the name of the Zerg Overlord hero unit?
Oh, I didn't play the story mode. I got nothing for you.
It's not even in the story mode. Oh, it's just in the it's in the files in the map editor. You can use it, but it's nowhere actually.
That's hilarious. A little bit to talk about the game, but yeah, if you're busting out lore, I got nothing for you on lore. Both
Some
players
of it's
going
lore,
12.
yeah, some of it's game.
Yep, 12 pool openings for both sides. So I think we've seen this more in ZVZ. A lot of 12 pools, a lot of 12 hatch, a lot more kind of slowing the game down from both players. So we got the mirror opening, which will definitely be good for Sloth. They got the correct overlord scouting, so you're gonna have great scouting information when you're doing a mirror build and you're trying to be a little greedier than your opponent. Being able to see what they can do when they can't see you it's pretty good.
Yeah, okay, so 12 pools from both. Very middle of the ground, very approachable from lots of different aspects. It's nice and safe, and we see both of them getting their expansions. Now, I'm not really a super expert on ZVZ. As a matter of fact, I really suck at ZVZ. It's one of the reasons why I switched, but, you know, beyond that, I think I'm looking to see some Zergling speed and Zerglings here from both players.
I think it's going to depend on how you want to play, but the fact that both their expansions are down on the low ground, nothing kept in the main, I would expect them to get Zergling speed. If you were like wanting to get the faster layer, maybe exploit some kind of muta timing, I don't think you get the expansion down at the bottom, so you can just lane concave your ramp and stay defensive. But you see both players very mirrored builds so far, getting lane speed about the same times. They both got the same hatchery timing. Should be seeing layers from both players as well, but actually, Cenderze, they're not mining gas as efficiently. Only 2 guys in the gas so far. Sloth, I guess they're going to say they just pulled off a little bit earlier. That's a little bit interesting. Layers on the way from both sides, and very mirrored thing so far. So I wonder who's going to blink first and try to go for that attack. Remember, there was that Overlord for Sloth, so they got a little more information about what's going on, and probably very comfortable to just roll on in there and be like, oh, you're doing exactly what I'm doing. Nice.
Yeah, and Cenderze even has a pair of lings just looking around the map, just looking for anything. I really like that. It's a nice dynamic approach to scouting in this matchup.
Yeah, as long as they don't get killed off, which since the speed from both sides is about the same. And oh man, if they can get up in there, oh, they try, they almost do.
Oh,
almost
wow.
get the info, but seeing that many lanes being made, that is info worth its weight in gold as well here. Cenderze should know to make some more lanes not get caught unawares. Layers are about to finish for both sides as well. The Sloth looking like they want to be aggressive. They're really kind of moving out here after that last production round. Still making a lot of lanes behind this too. So we're gonna have the layers finished. Gonna start working towards things, but is it just gonna be a big link fight for a while? Engage is gonna happen. I think Cenderze got a better concave though. Defender advantage really kicking in, and man, Sloth's army looked pretty intimidating, but look how easily Cenderze won that fight.
Ooh, that move actually could have cost Sloth the game. That the difference in Zergling losses was so huge.
Well, I mean, just like what happened to Sloth attacking that defender advantage, look at this, like the reinforcements come so quickly, so you gotta be, I think you gotta pick and choose your points here. Cenderze is gonna be the first one to start the Spire. Sloth's gonna keep making lings here, so we'll see what we're gonna see from Cenderze, if they're gonna invest in a sunken. It looks like they are, which will help out with some of this pressure here. Sloth only has the unit available, gonna keep moving forward, but Cenderze doing a great job, spreads out the lanes, trying to make sure that if they have to take a fight, they could get a decent surround, be in a good spot here. Sunken gonna get more. Sloth is gonna try to take this fight here. Sunken's not done just yet, and actually Sloth looks like they might be getting the better end of it, but both sides are gonna lose so many forces here. Not gonna be too much left over.
He's gotta get these Zerglings up the ramp.
Oh, this is not great. See 5 links in here, and Cenderze doesn't have that many in production, just one group here. It loses the defense, and you can see drones starting to fall now. I think you could actually start working on the Spire as well, but Cenderze pulls the drones to the natural instead, where the sunken is to help defend. This is big damage, down to 6 drones now for Cenderze. Not really what you're looking for, as that Spire is about to finish up, but there's no money. Like, you can't make mutas, there's no money.
Well, at this point, 45 minerals. Yeah, so Sloth is sending out another wave of Zerglings, and gosh, Cenderze has a sunken colony and 1 pair of lings.
Yeah, honestly,
this game might be over.
I think Sloth, like, even if these links don't end the game, which they probably should, like, even if they don't, they got the money to make the first couple mutas. They're gonna get that air superiority, and immediately jumping on and sunken. There wasn't that many links to help doing damage, so many links still alive for Sloth. He's in a good spot by the ramp. He's going to kill more drones as well. Cenderze trying to stay in. Can't do it, though. Pretty quick game, but, you know, ZVZ, as expected, Sloth gets a pretty good win.
I can't believe I called it totally wrong and then it flipped on me like that. That's just ZVZ for you.
No, that's CPL casting. See, welcome to the club. You gotta make the choice. Like, I sound like I know what I'm talking about, right? And then the player's like, no, absolutely not even a little. But that's like, I'm surprised that with that first attack, especially because like Sloth went into the defender's advantage, lost a decent amount of lanes, and just, I guess they delayed their Spire a little bit, which gave them, like, they didn't have to stop the lane production for it. Maybe that was, like, the big thing. I'm a little bit just surprised at how well that steamrolled for Sloth. But going on that second map, we'll see if things are different for Butter in the top right in the teal. Sloth again, up one game so far. In the bottom right, in the purple, it's Cenderze. Right, we got a little bit of time. Hit me with a non-lore trivia. I believe in you.
A non-lore trivia. Okay. All right. All right. I got you. So, okay. What is the name, the actual name of the upgrade for Marine Range?
U-238 shells or something.
Oh, yeah. You're so good.
Yeah, I know there's another word in there, I think. Like,
no, that's it. There's a dash in between you and the numbers, but that's it.
Alright, sick. Got him. In the chat, they said Yggdrasil for the hero overlord. And that does sound about right. You know, gives supply tree of life. That makes sense. That tracks.
Yeah, that's correct. All right.
Sick. Yeah.
Sweet,
so
sick.
I did the when Pilot Show did some of those like trivia things. I always watched those episodes and played it along at home. So
I don't know. It was just something I thought of one day, and I was like, yeah, I'll give it a shot. Change up the way I stream a little bit.
That makes sense. Now, what doesn't make sense here? Look at this drone from Cenderze. What in the fuck is this gonna be?
I'm loving it. I don't know what it is, but I'm loving it already.
Alright, because, you know, predicting the future's fun, and being wrong is even more fun. I'll make the guess. I don't care. I think it's gonna be a proxy hatchery that will never get scouted because it's gonna be in this top left, and Cenderze gonna go ham sandwich on some links. And it's just going to be a big link flood. But Sloth, you know, they already got their second hatchery back at home. They went hatchery first. So Cenderze has an extra hatchery, but it's so exposed if it ever gets found. Like, this is going to be a very interesting game so far. A slight drone lead for Cenderze. And Sloth hasn't, look at it, they have started their pool a little bit ahead of the opponent. And looking like they're going to gas as well. So, you know, the speed lane's treating them well so well in that first game. Why not do it again?
I love this, but the onus is on Sloth right now when he does his scouting to try and find something that's off enough to tip him off to go and scout the map. Otherwise, things can get a little bit messy when you might misread your opponent.
Well, I mean, realistically, if you can get in the main, you'll be like, all right, like our lair timing is kind of the same. Like, I got more links than you. I got like a little more of everything than you. You should have a second hatch, or like that should be the moment, the light bulb right there. Although we'll see if it ends up happening, though. This is just really funny. If it just doesn't get scattered or Sloth doesn't think about it, this is a great opportunity to do some free counterattack damage. But if you're put under siege, and like you're trying to hold on a ramp, you're trying to hold on for dear life here, that extra time for reinforcements to come back home to help you really could be very detrimental. Link speed for both players coming through, and you can see still mounting some gas, just like what we saw the last game as well. So should be able to transition to lairs reasonably enough. And Overlord Seas, a lot of the times are very similar. Again, just -1 hatchery, which is a bit weird.
Oh, he turns that Overlord around, actually. I mean, you had the sight range to where you could see creep if it expanded that far, but was he really paying that close attention?
We'll see here. Sloth is starting to build up a pretty decent lane force, but you know, Cenderze, because they're just going to hide this in this choke, you know, be a little more aggressive. If Sloth goes through, it's like they're waffling. They don't want to make that big commitment. It's where some of those links on the side might be able to go through for a counterattack, but there's only 2 links. Like, there's not a big investment here for this counterattack, so it's really just going to be Sloth moving forward with pretty strong forces, and Cenderze has less and won't be able to get that concave because they're just trying to block. See, Sloth wants to go through here, still fighting through this, and actually Sloth, I think, is getting a little bit of better concave. It's just slightly to the left of the egg. Cenderze has to yield, and Oh no, Lings are getting in here. Like, I think reinforcements could be a big problem here. Lair does finish, and Sloth does so much extra damage. This little gambit for that second hatchery, kind of biting the ass that he can't help defend right now.
This is such an unfortunate situation for Cenderze with his Zerglings that would have been from all the secondary larvae. It's at the 9 o'clock. That's a far travel time. So with less Zerglings there to defend, yeah, Sloth gets in, but not a whole lot of damage done economically. They're both still on 9 drones.
Yeah, I wonder if, like, Sloth went, like, 9 pool or something instead of getting that second hatchery where he has this numbers advantage, if this would have worked a lot better for Cenderze. Like, they would have been able to have that defender advantage. But the damage is too much. They're going to tap out. And a quick series is another 2-0 victory here. At this rate, we're never going to see what that third map is. We saw it yesterday, but if you missed it, then maybe you don't know. And I'm not going to tell you until we get there. But that is Sloth pulling out the win, so... Okay, it's, so actually, no, that's 2 wins for United Emus then. I think I missaid that in the first game. The GO.S.U won the first one, but they did not. So, United Emus up 2-0 so far. Looking very strong, too.
Man, we're not going to see a total sweep tonight, right? Right?
I mean, I don't look at the results ahead of time. We'll see.
Oh, man.
I don't think so, but... I don't know, like, actually this next that we're watching, 2sexy for you is a pretty strong player, so that could be the curveball that kind of gets us through. We'll go into our third set here, see how this goes instead. Going for 2sexy for you versus Frog. Starting back on Polypoid. Okay, in the bottom left, in the blue Zerg. It's, oh my god, did they top first bottom, you motherfuckers? Oh, yeah, I'm gonna rant about this. Alright, in a shade of blue, in the bottom left, it's fucking, I think that's Frog, and then the slightly lighter blue is 2sexy for you. Are you fucking kidding me with this? I'm surprised the game even allows this to happen. Like, you know, like, when they first introduced, like, the color picking, is like, well, if you pick black, it just disables dark gray. It's like, no, we're not letting people do this. Like, we're not idiots. It's like, how is this reasonable?
Oh, don't ask me, man. I'm actually colorblind. Not like totally, but like colors blend for me, so they look the same to me.
Oh, don't worry, they look the same to me too. That might not be you. You might be completely fine.
Cool. So top left, blue Protoss. Bottom left, blue Zerg.
Yeah, I think we say the Zerg. That's like blue with a capital B. It had a little more punch to it, but just barely more punch to it.
2sexy gets stuck with the blue color.
Now, you played some Zerg before. You thrilled about seeing on a 4-player map in base gateways?
If I'm pull first, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it does give you a chance to get Lings. Actually, I think when you're playing against this, it's more annoying to deal with having early hatcheries. Because as long as you don't lose the hatcheries, the extra larva will help you so much against this pressure. And we're actually seeing an assimilator.
This is cool.
Okay, so this is cool. I have concerns, which is fine, but the biggest thing I'm thinking is, did you ever, it was like 4 or 5 ASLs ago now, that I think it was Snow versus Sulky on Whiteout, that ridiculous 1-base Protoss, like just an insane Reaver Harass game. I just don't want this to be, I just watched that game last night, and you know what, I think I'm Snow, I can do it. It's like, no! Absolutely not.
That's exactly what I'm hoping for.
Well, see, the problem is that, like, any kind of 1-base tech strategy lanes is so fragile, it's so easy to die. And look, the first Overlord Scout, oh no, like, keep going. Alright, yeah, it sees what's going on, and it sees there's a gateway in the base already. That's weird. And it's going to go straight over to the Nexus to see. Pros even get pulled just to block the ramp? Like, I don't get what the fuck's happening right now.
I almost wonder if this is the moment where 2sexy for you saw the Overlord and went, oh shit, he's Zerg.
I wouldn't be surprised. Remember, there is no random in CPL, so you can't be like, I didn't know. But I've definitely made that mistake before. It's like, oh, you mother. Okay, all right. I've made that mistake before. So this spot looks pretty bad. We're mining 300 gas for 2 seconds for you, but there's no like cyber core. Finally, tech goes down. It's a citadel. Now the Overlord sees no nexus. Get right back in there and see what you want to do here. I'm curious if it is going to end up being DTs, because this fucking Overlord is going to find it. Like, how is this going to work? How is there any hope it's going to work? And I like this, that we're just seeing a Frog just going to be like, I'm just going to stay at 2 base, I've been at 3 hatchery, I'm going to 3 hatch Hydra. You don't have a wall to kill, I've already done the damage. Like I already killed the natural.
Yeah, I feel like if someone were to ask me up front, what does Protoss do at this point? I just want to shrug.
Well, the Overlord barely did see the Citadel, which I don't know if there's a, like, 2 seconds for you hoping maybe they didn't, but here comes that Templar Archives. Now, we'll see. With second gateway going down, if they're turtle up in 2 base, it can't be Dark Templar. It's so bad if it's Dark Templar. There's like no way in hell it ever works. So it's like, I'm kind of hoping it's some kind of really bad Archon Zealot thing, which is also bad because you don't have +1 and you don't have enough money. Like, it's
gotta be. What else would it be? Realistically, what else would it be?
I don't know what this would be. Like, this is not what would it be at any point that is applicable. All right, we'll see what ends up getting made here. This game is about to finish up. What is the unit of choice? Frog on only 15 drones. I feel like, you know, I think there might have been an opportunity to be a little bit greedier, like, you know, try to get some of these out instead. DTs are the choice. Overlords are at the front, and without a third base to go harass instead. I do think that's smart from Frog. It's like, I don't know what you're doing, but if I don't take a third base, you can't kill the third base. It seems a lot safer. Links are still
it
fun
makes
as well
sense.
to see to move out. This is actually starting to become a pretty decent, scary Protoss force. There's no range to kind of contend with. I think if there's like a sunken or two, maybe you're more worried. This link should keep poking forward. Like, no base has been taken. You got to prepare for an attack. Like, what else is going to happen?
Okay, so it is DT.
Oh, did the Link see it? They didn't kill the Link, so he was actively moving them, but did you see the Shimmer? It's kind of hard, especially if you're not really trying to pay super attention. Forge goes down back at home as well, so maybe starting upgrades reasonably soon. There are Overlords here. It's not like DTs could like jump and swipe at them, so there's plenty of units here at the front. But this, you know, the DTs itself, like, that might be enough to help contain, get yourself a good spot. They'll finish, so you'll have Overlord speed soon enough, and these DTs looking for a base, they are never going to find. This is a very weird game for both players, I assume.
Bro, I'm lost. Like, I'm just... Okay, so, no, Frog I think is doing everything correctly. I think, you know, he's staying a reasonable amount of drones and still getting Hydras for a 1 base. You know,
I'm gonna disagree, because you've been poking with your Lings. You know there's no expansion. Attacks coming. There's no Sunkens. That's the big mistake, and I think that actually could be very big, because you're gonna see there's a lot of DTs here. They're moving pretty far from the Overlords too, so big damage going through. Its army's gonna come through. Even has a couple Dragoons to help. Gonna start making a Sunken now, but it's gonna be too long before it's finished. And oh my god, this is gonna be so much DPS. The SimCity is not gonna. This is ridiculous.
Is he just going to win here?
Maybe. Okay, so this is an amount of damage. This is interesting. Hydras are gonna start falling here. Keeping tabs on that. Some of the DCs stay alive. That Sunken does finish. Protection is here as well. Hasn't really killed any drones. Just kind of fighting the army here, which I think. Okay, you lose the Sunken, you trade armies back and forth, but 2 seconds really invested in that. 1 DT still staying alive, but the Overlord still detecting everything the best they can, and end of the day, the defense holds. It's really not that bad a spot.
Oh, there's still units in the main.
Oh, I can't tell because
drones.
these fucking colors.
Right?
Thank you. Alright, 2 kills on the Zealot, 3 on Lagoon. So, I mean, it's okay, I say it did okay damage. Looks like for you still has a decent probe count. Expanding behind this now. But this is such a weirdo. Like, why? Why play like this? You could just take the expansion and play this exact same style, and it doesn't look nearly as ridiculous.
But this was so cool. Like, I thoroughly enjoyed watching this tactical maneuver from Too Sexy for You. Like, this is really cool.
I expand and I take 4 cannons immediately because I understand it's like defense. I don't know. This is a very weird game. But it does put Frog on 2 base, which now it's 2 base versus 2 base. That's not a bad spot. Still making defenses because they're not really sure. There's no extra scouting info, so they don't know an expansion got taken. They don't know what's going on here. If you're just assuming 2 seconds for you is still barreling into you, like this lair is done, but what's the tech gonna be? It's just Overlord speed? That's it? Like
I don't know, but this is a really cool follow-up from Too Sexy. He's already got the High Templars fielded at the natural, right? And Storm is just about to finish, so he's going to have Storm tech already. And Robotics is on the way, so this looks like a really clean transition, actually. This looks like a practiced build.
Yeah, that's a word for it. It definitely looks... It looks intentional. I don't know, it's a weird...
I'm rooting for it.
That's an interesting one. Probe to sneak over to the top right, and Ling finds it? Question mark? It should have. We'll see if they were paying attention, but... Zerg is going to take their own 3rd base at the mineral. It's not too bad. You should be able to keep recovering here. Adding on drones behind it now, I think, realizing there is an opportunity to figure out what's going on. Lang did get to the natural and died, so see that the expansion was taken, sees that there's cannons invested at the front. 2 seconds for you is just going to start adding on gateways, make sure they have observers as well, and actually going double forge to get some upgrades. So this is an interesting build. I am very intrigued. I dig it.
You must now try it.
Oh no, I'm never gonna try this. Like, I'll do cheesy, bad, like no transition all-ins, but I will take an expansion for all of them because, like, I like doing like all game, like 4 or 5 gate goon all-in with range. And you just like roll up to the base. They're like, wait, what? Why do you have these now? And they're actually, it's pretty fun. But no, I'm not doing 1 base anything like this. I tried that once on like Stilfid and just lost to like 9 hatcheries lings, and I was like, man, this sucks. I just want to forge the cans, man.
Alright, what do we got here? So, Frog Lurker Tech, well, that's about 60% of the way done. And has a huge bank of gas, too. I think those are going to go together.
Yeah, this is going to be a pretty robust amount of lurkers. A lot of hydras being made to burn the minerals, but yeah, going to be in a pretty good spot. Actually needs to build some overlords because they're nearing the supply cap, so that will kind of hinder the plans a little bit here. But observers, we know observers are ready and now are, so it's not like you're going to catch them off guard. But when Protoss didn't go Corsairs all ground army, lurkers still can be very effective. We'll see if 2 seconds for you, like, when are they going to go for the next attack, or is it going to be Frog initiating the aggression this time?
Yeah, I want to see whether or not Frog goes for a 4th base, and it looks like the 6 o'clock is being taken. Yeah, right as I say that. Alright, so that will be the plan, and then we'll probably see a defensive posture with these lurkers here as he continues to power up.
I feel like I am bad at gauging this. Is that 6 o'clock hatchery 1 hex to the left? I'm always bad at gauging it, but that looks wrong, right?
Yeah, I think that's wrong. I'm pretty confident that's one hex too far.
Like comparing it to the Protoss natural, that looks big, right? It's not just
yeah, that doesn't look right.
I don't know. We'll see. I feel like I always see this, and it's like I feel like it's wrong, and then it's like it actually gets made. It's like no, it's fine, and I'm dumb.
No, I mean like look at the mini map. Look at the way it's oriented on the mini.
Yeah, it looks weird, right?
It's wrong, and the Zealot's gonna scout it. That's good information right there.
Yeah, Zealot moving around here trying to see what's going on, and seeing a 4th base being taken is pretty good too. That's like the biggest investment before there be any kind of return. Queen's Nest does finish, so we can start transitioning into Hive Tech. But 2 seconds for you. This army looking pretty robust, going to move out here. This Templar has been alive for a long time, so plenty of storms made. You can see started try to secure that top right as well, but a Link is going to scout it. 2 seconds for you, barreling down the front here. Frog's going to have to actually defend this. Where are those lurkers? A couple burrowed. They have all this gas, but I was expecting more here. And you see the units are actually split up a little bit. And we're just going to see 2 Sexy kind of roll up into the natural. lots of storms available, lots of dragoons as well. Hydras are going to start trying to engage, but man, fighting through this field of storms is going to be so painful. Some lurkers are going to be able to burrow, more Hydras from the side as well, but a lot of dragoons still alive. Storms should still be available, and even just making sure they're staying back, trying to not put themselves in a bad spot. This army from Protoss looking so strong right now. Or just Frog underestimate like the attack that when it was going to come.
Yeah, so 3 of those High Templars came into combat maxed out on energy, 200, 200, and we saw some of the greatest storms ever. And I think those storms really made this attack just, it was the frosting on the cake. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and we got reinforcements still rolling through as well. They bust through the front. There's no sunken. So there's one sunken way back at the natural. But there's just no more units here. This giant supply lead. Lurkers being morphed back behind, but having this many goons already like available, they got range, they got +1. Like this is just gonna look really good here. Lurkers are, or at least the egg, are gonna try to do something, but even storming those, trying to just kind of put their damage on. Natural's gonna fall. Should be able to get into the main as well. And this is such a weird build, and it's like I'm not sure if I'm happy or sad. He's gonna win this game. It's ridiculous.
I'm thrilled. This was so cool. This is just the beyond the meta approach to how to play StarCraft. Like, it's really cool to see a style like this be effective. You know, it brings more excitement.
Yeah, sure. But it's like it's a little bit weird for the tier 1 to see something just off the wall. But I mean, we got AgGe later tonight too, so you know maybe that's just what we're seeing here.
Yes.
Well, that's a good win for 2 for you. Very interesting game. So if anyone was feeling that PvZ feels the same sometimes, there's the curveball. And man, what are you thinking going into map 2 as Frog after that game?
I think, oh man, my mind would be frazzled. Like I wouldn't know what to think. Like, is he gonna do something like that again, or is he gonna start playing standard?
Yeah, well, we're on butter. The map that already attracts weird stuff. We'll see if they pick the right version, hopefully. And we'll get into our next game.
No temples, please.
Oh, thank God these colors are better. Alright, in the top right, in the light blue, it's Frog. And the bottom right, in the yellow Protoss this time, it's Too Sexy for You. Currently up a game after hard shenanigans. Just the hardest shenanigans.
Okay, game plan. Proxy. 9 pool, speed, go.
Proxy 9 pool, yeah, okay. Get in there. Just you make the hatchery and you cancel it. Oh no, that's the StarCraft. Man, that was like one of my favorite things about StarCraft 2. Like if you made it the hatchery and cancel it, it had a little patch of creep. So you can like do shenanigans.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, it doesn't work in this game though, unfortunately. So let's see here, and look, the probe is moving out. I think we're actually getting a wall, and that's like when you do something weird, that's one of the best things you can do. It's like, all right, I'll just play normal this game, whatever. Considering that probe's not immediately scouting as well, looks like we're gonna get see Gateway first instead of Forge. So 2 for you, throwing a little bit of the weird stuff, not just that Forge expand. We're not doing the gentleman's agreement to play a normal game. We're just gonna mix it up, which is very exciting.
Gateway expand is fairly normalized at this point, I think. He just wants to play a little bit more aggressive on the open.
Well, it's something I've noticed in CPL. It depends on the tier you play is how often you see Gateway expand. Like, as it goes down,
really?
you see it less and less. Because it's easy to fuck up. It's real easy to, like, get your Zealots killed and you're in a terrible spot. Forge is just like, you made cannons. If you're unsure, make a cannon. It's very easy to not die very, very quickly. So as you go down the tier list, which, I mean, tier 1's right in that, like, kind of middle ground where it's like, yeah, I guess you'd expect both. But I think you'd still see Forge just dramatically more often if you're in practice games.
Yeah, I guess you're right. So yeah, gate expand, overpool, everything looks pretty normal so far.
Yeah, but there's always that niggling in the back of your minds that what just happened to you on the first game, the normal map. Now you're on the weird one. Gotta be very careful. And look, we got this drone even trying to scout, see what's going on. We're getting the Forge before Nexus, which I hate with a passion. It's the worst. I absolutely despise it. It's completely unnecessary, and the problem even sees it expand. Like, it's not like a bunch of lings are about to roll up to your base and put you under immediate fire. Like, that's the whole point of the Zealot expand, that you have Zealots. The drone will get some good info and just manage to walk on out and still, this Nexus is going to be pretty far away here. It'd be fun if he just doesn't take the Nexus. Like, he's just like, oh, I'm expanding, trust me.
Oh my god, I would absolutely love it. What if he puts down a gateway in the exact spot just to goof on him, like fool him?
Oh, that would be amazing. I don't think it's going to happen, but man, it'd be pretty cool. There is that Nexus going down.
Oh,
So
it's a Nexus.
yeah, it's normal play. I mean, that's good. Like, let's see the normal game. I think that's fine. We're seeing a third hatchery being taken over on that top left side. So we saw in the first game, Frog had no problem going 3-hatch Hydra, and we'll see if he wants to go for it again. Here's a problem we're going to have to deal with, though. These lings are just going to poke down at this gateway. There's an easy opportunity to kind of goof this up a little, but because of that early forge, you can just make a cannon. Not really a big deal here. It still slowed down Nexus so severely. Like, it's not great as Too Sexy, but they're not under immediate threat right now, at least.
Yeah, this is kind of like the, I guess, super safe way, which if you won the first game, I guess that makes sense to do. Well, he's got to pressure off these Zerglings for sure.
Yeah,
I want to lose that gateway.
You don't want to lose that gateway. It's actually supply block right now, too, like getting kind of thrown off. The Nexus will finish shortly, though, so if you're really trying to optimize this, with the cannon done, I think you got to stop trying to go for this. Unfortunately, not going to be able to make that one happen, and because there's no good scouting info, I don't know if Too Sexy really never went to scout. Because with the game expand, you don't have to immediately. I don't think they actually sent out a scout. They don't see that it's there pretty quickly here. So
yeah, well, those zealots were sent out, that's for sure.
Yeah, gonna be able to move out a little bit here, try to put some pressure on. Frog doing the good thing here, buying time, just move the lanes around. Don't have to take the fight, just make sure these zealots don't get across the map and get you this nice, easy kind of scouting info. Cybercore's about to finish, so we'll see if it ends up being anything. But gas was finished and not mine for a bit, so 2 seconds for you. I think things are kind of getting a little jumbled here as far as the build goes. We'll see if it ends up being Stargate, though. Managed to get Corsairs. As Laird's about to finish, should be...
Now, you're a Protoss player, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, is that a fast second gas for Too Sexy?
It depends on what you're trying to do. I know, like, for example, I'll get a reasonably fast second gas when I'm trying to go, like, +1 air weapons and +1 ground weapons and Stargates and stuff, like when you need that little extra burst. So we do see Stargate on the way, but I think with everything getting, like, delayed, like I said, like, that gas in the main was finished but not mined. This might just be I'll build the second one and catch up. I don't think the big investment for the plan here. A lot of drones and Aspire being added for Frog. Their spot looking pretty good here. They're actually going to match workers, which is never great this early on.
Yeah, on 3 base, that's a terrifying prospect for Protoss to be in a predicament where, yeah, they're on equal counts with Zerg. He's going to need to find a way to catch up or spring himself forward in this game. And we'll see whether or not it's going to be... Alright, so it's going to be Citadel after the Stargate here. Alright.
I mean, it's what you're always expecting. You need to get towards Templar, you need your Zealot, like, you need to work on all this stuff. The biggest thing we're looking for is, like, how many gateways does he make? Is this an indication of staying on 2 base and going for a big attack, or if you kind of cut them back a little bit, you're looking like you're trying to take that 3rd base instead? The Frog's looking like they're in a pretty good spot here, working on these 5 hatcheries, Hydra's being added as well. And Aspire about to finish, but the gas at the natural was taken, so I wonder if this might actually be Mutas, not just Scourge. Or
yeah, I'm wondering the same thing.
Or at least being ready for it if they kill the first Corsair, which is moving right across the map as Aspire's about to finish. What's going to get morphed from that larva? Nothing? Nothing. Because the supply block's going to delay things. Pretty significantly, too, it looks like. There we go.
Okay, Corsair coming in, getting a good scout, sees all 3 bases, all the attack, all the hatches. Back at Protoss, what do we got? Alright, we have our 3rd gateway coming up. Now, see, I don't know, I feel like that's just too few. Is it just me?
Again, it depends if you're trying to attack or not. With the Overlord sitting right here and seeing it, it's like, if you just add on a bunch, like, you do gotta kind of slowly work towards it, otherwise you're never gonna actually get the Templars and the Forge Storm and all that kind of stuff. So, whenever they really start adding on the gateways, so we'll see where they end up, if they get up to like an 8-ish, or if they're going to stay around like 4 or 5 instead. But You see Scourge trying to find opportunity. The cannon was made to help to guard these Corsairs, and he's building up the numbers. Actually investing in +1 air weapons a bit later, but still going to invest in it instead. So maybe looking to actually keep these Corsairs like in the game, really working on some of these Overlords, which there's a giant party of them at the Natural. If you can go get your guys there, that'd be pretty sweet.
Yeah, it's strange that he paused production on the Corsairs for a little while. Now he's got it started back up. I mean, it makes sense to start it back up because he's investing in the upgrade, but I guess this is kind of more the path that he wants to go, is Zealot Corsair with some Templar coming in behind.
Yeah, well, speed is done. These Zealots got +1 as well. They're going to move out on the map. The links just recently spread out to look for other expansion and kind of keep eyes on where these Corsairs might be. Scourge had to see how many Zealots are here, though. This is a lot. 10 speed Zealots. They got upgrades, and like, look at the Natural. No Sunkens to help defend it. You look at the third. No Sunkens to help defend it. No Lurkers or anything either. So, I don't know, man. These Zealots might do a lot more damage. Frog, I don't think they're fully respecting how strong this might be.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with you. And we're seeing the reinforcements trickle in. A couple more Zealots just to keep pace. Ooh, the Scourge make a nice connection there.
Yeah, I guess with the buildings in a way you don't really want to attack and all that, but with no Sunkens there, it's like, I don't know if that's like just a trap. It just looks good. It's like, oh, you could punch these Hydras to death. It's fine. Like, it's no big deal. But they're looking around. They have the Corsairs. So they should know that other base. Yeah, like, just actually knows the third base in the top left. So I'm surprised they're not at least poking there, trying to put a little bit of pressure on, see if there's an opportunity. But Storm has finished. +1 air weapons is going to finish very shortly as well. So as they're building up the unit count, there's not a lot of gateways, so it's making me think there is going to be an attempt to expand reasonably soon. So I was playing Corsairs alive up in the main as well.
I'm a little bit surprised that he's not being more active with these Corsair. They're so fast you can get in and scout a lot of information. You really want to see whether or not Zerg's going to go for a faster hive, or if they're just going to power up the Hydras. We see that it's going to be power up on the Hydras option, but Protoss really needs that information.
Yeah, I wonder if they're waiting for the +1 air weapons, like hiding them, make sure they don't lose them in a bad spot, or, you know, coming out as like a surprise punch, like, hey, you weren't ready for how strong these things are going to be. But we can see, like, with Sue's actually really geared up in this Natural, if Frog gets enough time to just walk across the map and set up that contain outside, it's going to be so annoying to bust through here. We've already seen that be a problem earlier tonight, and there's a lot of Hydras. There's no Lurkers to help, but that is a ton of Hydras.
That's a lot of Hydras.
I mean, you're like 2 good storms away from your entire army exploding like confetti, but it's, you know, it's going to be pretty interesting. Still, Gateways getting added on, so 2Sexy still gearing up on this 2 bases. Frog got to move basically unopposed all the way across, just starting to bleed out now. Look at this concave from the Hydras, but the storms, like I said, they're so clumped together, doing great damage. Tries to pull them back a little bit, but so many Hydras die almost immediately. Oh man, that is the danger of just kind of throwing everything together. But after this, without the storms, there's not that many Zealots, falling pretty fast. Only a couple Dragoons left. And despite the big damage that was done initially, all right, more storms going down, still doing damage. And all right, I think that's did enough to repel this attack. Both sides, I think, are gonna just go back home and build up. Which Rock, they got 41 drones. They're on 3 base. I don't think they're that upset with that result.
No, it's totally fine. And Zerg's choice was not to reinforce after this, but rather, during the attack, took the opportunity to grab a Queen's Nest and now is getting their hive.
Yeah, that's interesting, seeing how fast this is. And oh, DT on the left, there was an attempt at expansion. Hydras is dying. They're even giving the notification too, so he knows they're there. But that is always a little scary when there's a DT rolling out somewhere on the map. Like, if you lose eyes on it, it's like, it's probably going to come back later and kill like your entire family. Just the worst thing to deal with. Does try to roll up into the third. There is detection this time, and ooh, managed to sneak away. Has 5 kills. Already kind of doing some pretty good damage. And Frog, I thought maybe they're going to push forward. Looks like they are going to stop instead. More from some Lurkers. Hive is about halfway done at this point, and 2-6 for you now. Starting to build up some money, but this army, you know, still got a pretty good supply lead. They're going to expand outwards and try to take this next base, which they're sending a probe by itself. There's a Ling here. It's not going to kill the probe.
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
Oh. How very unfortunate. But no, looking now at the size of the army that 260 for you has fielded, now Now we see the might of the Protoss that can come down. So now I think he can contend with this huge Hydra force, no problem. Granted, we get some good storms off, but it looks like they're going to bypass each other. Oh no.
Yeah, it's not ideal, but I mean, Tuesdays for You definitely has a stronger army. But we can see what does Frog want to do. They're going to start trying to pick away some of these reinforcements. Going to come back here. Means Frog might be in a bad spot trying to retreat here. Storm's going down, doing some pretty good damage right across the bridge. You see some units try to go up to that third. You know, maybe Bird of the Lurkers kind of gets damage done. There are observers available, so they're not going to just kind of trounce over everything. This Frog army getting kind of split up here. 2 seconds for you is kind of just growing the supply lead. It was like 20 ahead, now 40, now up to 60. He does manage to stop that third base, but I think 2 seconds for you just turns around and kills the base. Like, this army's so strong right now. Hive Tech hasn't come online just yet. The Filer Mound is finished. Adrenaline's gonna finish soon, but no consume, so you're not gonna have Darkstorm to save you from these Dragoons.
Ooh, we're looking at a pretty good engage here from Protoss. Managed to pick off quite a number of those lurkers down, and now it looks like the only option left for Frog is to counter the third.
I mean, Pros really wants to get this third up, so this is actually not a bad move. Immediately gets canceled. He knows he's not going to be able to defend it, which that does give 2 Sexy the freedom. It's like, I'll kill my base myself so I can keep attacking. There's a decent amount of army down on the bottom side. So this supply lead's even worse than it looks. Lurkers being morphed, but there's just some Hydras. Good Storm goes down, does some good damage.
Storm. Mm-hmm.
And right into the natural. Still no Sunkins or nothing. The High Tech, at least Adrenaline is done, but is that going to be enough here?
Wow. The pickoffs on the lurkers was extraordinary here.
Yeah, Zealots in the natural doing some big damage. This army in the middle of the field gets cleaned up, and you can see reinforcements going to come through for 2 seconds for you as well. Hive Tech consumes about to finish. Drone's getting evacuated. The sign of desperation. That's like, you know, this base is lost, but you can't just give up control of your natural and your main. That's where all the tech is, all the production. Like, it's going to be too much of a problem. And even a couple of Zealots are just going to chase him over. There's 2 lurkers here, so that will eventually clean that up, but you're revealing that there's a base there, which I think Protoss knew anyway. Gotta be able to kill off these Hydras, and this Protoss army, it just keeps getting stronger as these fights keep going on. Every fight they win a little more handily each time.
Yeah, if we saw some additional reinforcements from Protoss, that would absolutely seal the deal here, but Zerg's already in a pretty rough spot, and looking in the production tab, there's, what, 2 pairs of Lings being made right now? We need to see some answers from Frog, and we need to see them now.
Yeah, well, not going to. He's going to answer by tapping out. And that's another 2-0. We'll never find this third game, apparently. I mean, I think they just played 2 games. Like, they're just gentlemen's agreements. Like, listen, we don't want time to play StarCraft all night. Let's just do a bunch of 2-0s. Even the first game, I'll give you the second game.
Listen, I got home from work, I'm tired. You got home from work, you're tired. Let's just play 2. Rock, paper, scissors. Who 2-0s it?
I mean, so I do like some card game stuff too, and that's actually something that happens a lot in like Swiss tournaments. Like, well, if we split these games, no one gets to advance. So let's just play like 1 game, and then I'll say you swept me if you win. So that way, at least you get to advance, or I get to advance. So that happens all the time.
It's like this low-grade conspiracy in CPL.
Oh, that'd be funny. Like, there's just I think the conspiracy would come in during the draft when people were picking the teams. Like, man, you got all those players, huh? And behind the scenes, people aren't really know how the teams are made. Interesting. But that's another 2-0 win. This time it is actually for GOSU. 2 seconds for you, doing a great job there with the weird one in game 1, but very solid play in game 2. So showing the full run of everything. Puts it at 2-1. United Emu still a little bit ahead here. Got 2 more sets head up, and finally you get to watch your boys. We got some Terran action.
Ooh, finally.
I know your heart is breaking, but don't worry. It's that slow matchup that everyone loves to watch. PVT, background polypoid in the top right. In that green Protoss, it's maaaaxaxa. In the top left, in the magenta Terran, it's GOSU Jess.
Oh, I'm hitting this stuff. It's called Pink Oasis. It's taken me on a journey.
What? What is Pink?
The chat will understand.
Oh no. Alright, inside jokes and memes, that seems good, but PvT, you've played it, I've played it. You know about the first 7-8 minutes are going to be, unless something weird happens, they're going to be pretty standard. So this might be a time for a little more of your infamous trivia.
All right. I'll slap you with this one. So, Terran units have ranks. And in the ranking hierarchy, what is the rank of the Terran Ghost?
Corporal. I'll say corporal.
Close. That would be the Firebat. The Ghost is technically labeled as a specialist.
That was the other one I was thinking. Damn it. Close.
Nice.
Well, I was thinking, like, you know, actual kind of ranks and specialists. I don't know how that would actually go into, like, a military hierarchy, so that's fine. I remember seeing corporal somewhere. It's like, maybe it's ghosts. But I guess if I remember seeing it somewhere, it definitely wasn't ghosts.
Yeah, corporals are Firebats for sure. So, okay, getting into this, I'm going to be a total man here and admit defeat, but this person, Jess, is a freaking monster. She completely steamrolled me 2-0 during, like, last week's games, I think. So, bar's pretty high set from me here.
Yeah, see, I don't know if... I don't think it's the same player, because they're down tier 1, but I just see, like, oh, it's a strong player named Jess, and it makes me think Jess ESC2. Like,
nope,
she played
it's
CPL
the same ID. I know I'm talking about the same person.
Yeah, no, so, yeah. They would be a tier 0 player. They were tier 0 with multiple races. So I know it's not them, but it's like, oh, another strong player named Jess. Maybe that's just like a name thing. It's like, you know how like people put like points in like astrology and all that kind of stuff. Like, oh, if you're a Libra, you're all this kind of stuff or whatever. It's like, well, if your name's Jess, maybe you're just great at StarCraft.
What? Okay.
I mean, prove me wrong. Where's your bad Jess to counter my argument?
All right. Brain.exe has stopped working.
I mean, it's so foolproof. There's no holes in that argument. You'll never be refuted.
Jeez.
Alright, so it looks like we're going to get an early expansion, though, from Terran. Pulling people off. They start the factory. One guy's still mining gas. That should be a fast CC going up. And
Correct.
We got one gateway, we got range, we're going to get an expansion. I bet this goes into 3 gates, and a robo, an observer, and a third. This is why it's like we got time for trivia, because if you're playing this matchup remotely normally, this matchup is kind of dry early on, unless like someone wants to like throw an early Zelda in the mix, and there's not SimCity to fight it. Other than that, it's just, you know what's going to happen.
Yeah, see, I think I made the right call there. The only problem is eventually I'm going to run out of things for trivia. Like, there's just so much you can know.
Okay. Well, I think that's fair. But you said you prepped, so you know now we just get to blame you because you say you prepared, but did you really?
I did. I gave you 3 pieces already. You folks are greedy.
Well, I'd figure you'd have 1 per match. And if we're doing 5 best of 3s, that's up to 15. Where's your?
Oh, good lord. I have a few more, but I don't want to spoil them until my next cast.
Okay, well, you got a little time. You can chill your next cast. When are you planning to cast next?
So, probably, well, based on my schedule, I might do one on Sunday, pending some time, and if not, then I'll do one on Tuesday.
Okay, there you go. Tuesday? Oh, when do you normally cast?
Tuesday, Wednesday.
No, like time of the day.
Oh, yeah, early morning, or late morning actually, around 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Or daylight time, whichever.
Gotcha. Alright, these games gonna put a little bit of pressure on up at this bunker, taking a lot of damage, but no hold just yet. Try to get that perfect angle. Finally can start doing some damage here. Fucking goons are so dumb. Marine dies for reasons unknown, no big deal, but the repair will start happening here. The expansion on the way for Jess. Nothing looking too bad here. Max has finished their nexus. They're starting to... Hey, look, it's a robo. Hey, look, it's observatory. Some gateways.
Well, I guess you just called that out, sir.
Yeah, it's so easy to do this kind of build. Now, that vulture getting in here going to lay some mines is actually tremendously annoying. that the ramp wasn't kind of blocked off. The fact you just roll on in here, and it's just gonna be able to get some probe kills. Things getting evacuated, just wants to make sure you don't lose too much here. But because the Vulture got 4 kills and managed to lay a couple mines that like just gotta be annoying, that is well worth 75 minerals.
Totally worth it. Absolutely.
And it wasn't even like a speed Vulture. It just like walked on in. It's like, oh, you don't want to cover the ramp, huh? Okay. That's a little. This is a little bit of an aggressive move. Like the expansion's already up and moving out with a couple Marines and a tank. It's like, I guess there's not that many goons here, but this feels so risky. Like, what if these goons dive in and kill this tank? Like, this could put you in such a bad spot. Second tank is gonna, you know, they're rolling through. Siege about to finish as well. But ooh, here comes Max, gonna push up. High ground advantage might buy you a little bit of time. I think there was a miss. That tank's not at half health just yet, but still wants to fight. Using that high ground. Siege is done. Gonna siege up, and now you got this very annoying area, but it's not really strong. There's no vultures or mines. There's so few units, and actually gonna build a bunker. This is oddly aggressive, and I think it's fun.
This is a very early contain. Wow, this is wild. I am learning some new things here.
Well, you're saying it's an early contain. I am not convinced this is that much of a contain. Like, now that the bunker's up, it's, you know, a lot scary, but before when it was like 3 Marines and a tank or 2, it's like, if for us just like a move that actually just took that fight, I think they at least killed the tanks, destroy all this pressure, and it's like, you're completely fine. Observer comes back to see what's going on. Well, yeah, now it's going to be bad, though. This eBay just to have buildings in the way to be annoying. The SCV does get pulsed, no repairs, and moving up enough to start shelling pylons, man. This is very fun play for Jess. I dig this.
We got a shuttle on the way at the Protoss robotics facility. That'll definitely help break this siege contain.
Yeah, no, this is exactly the move you want to see here. Adding on actually more gateways. Hadn't started the 3rd Nexus yet. I don't know if they were feeling the pressure from this or if this was part of the plan. And eBay canceled, walk it back home. Like, you did your job. You delayed the 3rd a little bit, and that's enough.
I really like this. I like the respect for Protoss and the build-up and the timing. It was just perfect.
Hold on, did I hear you right? Did you say Terran players can respect Protoss? I don't believe you. That doesn't sound right. You want to walk that
comment.
back?
No further comment.
The traitor to the Terran race. It's like, no, Protoss are honorable too. Look at how they're playing. They're very honorable. Now you gotta. I am a little bit concerned though. There's still a decent amount of goons here. Still have that shuttle with 4 zealots, and there's a lot of tanks here that are like really grouped up. I wonder if you still want to try to force the action, or like Max just comfortable. You take the small loss of how late this is. Just go for your Nexus anyway, and then start working your way forward towards getting like Arbiter tech instead. Looks like they are going to be a little more cautious, not worry about it. They will let Vultures get on a map, start laying mines, get a little vision. And I think it'll be on Jess whenever they want to take that next CC, because they're only on 3 factories. Like, they didn't like add on a bunch of stuff. They should be able to build up money for a CC, put it over at that.
It's already taken. I am loving this forward position for Terran right here. This is so wild.
Oh, that's like in the. Oh wow! I saw an eBay game builder. I didn't think that was gonna be a CC. Which, why not just build it on site then? What is that?
It's very careful, that's for sure.
Well, yeah, it's interesting. I don't know how I like it. Observer is here, so we'll see when that flies over, but the direction it comes from will be very wild. Factory's going to get added on back in the Terran main as well. Armory is done, but not working on any upgrades. So, you know, maybe a missed opportunity to start working towards that +2 to make this army so much more difficult to deal with. Nexus does finish, and we'll transfer probes over. Max has not been building probes as much as you would like to see from Protoss at this point. Actually, it's still down on workers, but should be able to keep catching up reasonably soon. And with the Citadel done, like, I'm waiting to see the Temple Archives working towards the next step, or add on gateways if you're going to go gateway, man. I don't want them to stay static on what they got right now. They got to keep advancing to that next step.
The 3rd denial from Jess being so effective, I think, really comes through with this worker count now, because I think we're so used to seeing at this point Protoss being ahead of Terran and workers. And right now, it's rather even, and Terran's about to take their 3rd on-site right now, as that CC floats on its way over.
I think it's always weird when you watch floating buildings pass each other. It's like they set a set distance, but it's like the barracks just goes up a little more. And look at this at the third. From the top side, Vulture's just getting on in. There's 2 goons there, but they're not reacting. So many mines available as well. So I think there's a good opportunity. Vulture might get a lot of probe kills here. Damage being done so devastating. Has to pull the probes away. Has the units here to help defend, but that was a brutal little counterattack.
And that one mine almost made the connection of a lifetime. Oh, it's still excellent damage done, however.
Yeah, that was like 10 worker kills. That is glorious how much damage that ended up doing here. Where is... Okay, up at the top. So we are finally going towards Arbiters. Arbiter Tribunal on the way. And just with such a low commitment, like still getting plenty of vision, a little bit of control out of these Vultures as well. And like they got the third base up, no harassment. They're still up in workers. I am a little concerned though, because I'm surprised the supply isn't a little closer, given how things have been going. I thought it would be, but they're going to add on these factories now. They won't be in a too bad of a spot, and working on the second machine shop to increase that tank production. Probe trying to roll on down to this bottom right. Vultures are there fighting goons, but the probe almost walked to its death, immediately just turned around, having none of that.
One thing that kind of concerns me just a little bit is the number of gateways that Max has, and now just with the scan, going to get a nice confirmation on that as well, is going to know where the advantage lies.
Yeah, and even though they don't see the Arbiter, they don't see the Cyber Core spinning, so you can, I think, without seeing a lot of gateways and you don't see arrow weapons being researched, you can pretty much just ensure it's Arbiters. They just didn't add the gateways yet, so, which I don't know if that's, I don't think just want to plan to attack anytime soon, but you should feel pretty good being nice and defensive right now, right? That you don't have a lot of gateways. What are you really going to roll up to do this big damage with? You already took your 3 bases. You know you've been denying an extra base down at the bottom right as well. And the Vultures like are kind of freely moving around the map. Looks like the goons are going to try to clear out a little bit of stuff where the cheeky missile turret was trying to be made, which is funny, but unfortunately not actually going to happen. But still, Max can't really kind of get anything together. Arbiter Tribunal's done, finally starts producing that first Arbiter.
Still sitting on 5 gateways as well. Gosh, if you're Terran right now, you got to be feeling real comfortable about where you're at.
Yeah, seems reasonable to me. Even starting to work on science vessels, and you know, should be able to work on EMP Shockwave to help out with this as well. Adding more factories. It just actually a pretty good gas bank. I wonder, like maybe they'll add a third, like a third machine shop just to kind of help you produce a little bit, because the money balance is a little bit off right now for the turn. Just I think the second machine shop was so late in comparison to what you're used to seeing.
Yeah, that's definitely something I would endorse, especially when it comes to replenishing the tanks that are inevitably going to get destroyed by, you know, an Arbiter coming through. Cloaked units, stasis some of them, you get pounced on, etc., etc.
Okay, well, we got a base up at the 12, and I don't want to say it again, but it looks weird. Like maybe that one's fine. I don't know. Again,
Nah, this one's good.
That one's good. See, it's like I think I'm just looking for it now. It's like I don't know. We'll see though. We got this big Terran move out. Not on the high ground though. Plenty of Zealots already in range. The Vultures following pretty fast here. A lot of goons still here. More speed Zealots behind. This is ill-advised. Jess was in a good spot economically, but like I was saying, I didn't think they had the muscle to kind of attack through. And you can see how fast that fight went wrong. This is losing control of the map now. Should be able to put pressure at least on the third, maybe the natural. And realistically, how's Jess going to survive? Protoss just goes, all right, I guess I'll go kill you right now.
At this point, there is no survival. I'm a little surprised to have seen Jess move out on such a low population count. I mean, it was only just above 100 a little bit. You really should only move on Protoss once you've got very close to max and some decent upgrades. So I think that was a bit of a mistake that might have cost her the game.
Yeah, well, it does get a lot of SCVs killed. The CC over the third does go down. Barracks taking damage, but that's not too important right now. It'll buy you a little bit of time, but there's not that many tanks up in the back here. There is a shuttle, still has 4 Zealots in it. Takes a lot of damage from turrets. That's not going to be able to be used to go forward. Takes one shot away from losing a bunch of Zealots here. But still, you kill the base. I don't think Max knows about the 12. This would be another easy base to go kill without any issue at all. And this could be an opportunity, I think, for Max to take their next base as well, either at their mineral or back at that bottom right, but they're not really doing either yet. Just kind of reinforcing and containing and getting Jess in a pretty decent position to attack later in the future as they're nearing max.
Just want to point out real quick what a fantastic job Max is doing about spending money.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Especially considering that the base was kind of tied up. The third was a little later than you like. Still doing a good job macroing at home as best they can. Probe Council looking pretty decent. Got their third base up, but given like the amount, like they don't have a ton of gateways here, so they're still doing it the hard way. They're gonna have to add more eventually, but right now, like things are looking pretty good here. Just, you know, they're trying to rebuild that tank count, but they lost so many earlier. It's really not great. There's 100 energy on its Arbiter, so if they got states that could be available here under the cloak, but they got the detection of the vessel. Units from that high ground, though, going for that big surround. Scan goes down to help out as well. No stasis being used just yet, but this is just a lot of forces. That shell going back in, but again, it has so little health. Those Zealots die before they get dropped, but the Protoss army is so big, I don't even think it matters.
It does not matter at this point. Protoss should be able to just move right in and seal the deal. And even if it wasn't successful, Max managed to secure the kill on the 12 o'clock neck or command center, so that's going to be 400 minerals and a base down.
Yeah, that's a bit of a while ago, and I like what we're seeing. Just little tiny things down at the bottom. There's that observer going around just to see if there's a base that just like, did you take something? Why are you still hanging around in this game? So always like seeing CPL players do that stuff. Ends up being enough. GQ from Jess.
GQ.
Yeah, but Max did it despite the pressure they took early. Max did a great job staying in that game. Looked pretty strong here, and I want Jess to change their strategy in game 2 because you saw that game 1, right? You got yourself in a good spot early, and you had the freedom to take your next expansion, all that stuff, and your opponent kind of just outgrew you in that mid to late game as things were developing. Maybe you're better off doing like a 2-fac and like really putting your opponent in a bad spot, maybe forcing some kind of damage to go through.
Perhaps. I'd have to agree with you. She had everything going for the most part, up until that attack in the mid game, where you basically threw away all the siege tanks, and that's really one thing you don't want to do in TVP.
I mean, I want you to do that, but I play pro. It's like, yeah, throw them away. Throw them in the garbage. They're terrible. Go raids. They're better. Back in map 2 on Butter. Will we see map 3? Maybe this could be the series to do it. In the top right, in the gray Protoss, it's maaaaxaxa. In the bottom right, in the magenta Terran, it is GOSU Jess.
I still don't know what map 3 is.
I mean, I know, but I'm not ruining it. No spoilies, right?
No spoilies. No, absolutely not. But I'm on the edge of my seat here.
Well, if we get there, it might lead some interesting games. So we'll see if we get there. But we do actually have to get there, and I think this map in particular, Butter, for this matchup, can be a little weird, a little annoying here. And I think what we're seeing here from Max is a forward gateway to put a little bit of pressure on. And I like this decision. I think this would be good if that's what we're seeing. Is that what we're seeing? No. Piling back in the main, maybe just an early scout with the intention of going Nexus first. That'd be cool. Otherwise, why would you scout so aggressively?
That would make sense, because you could be checking for any early aggression, and if there's none, well, you're all clear. 12 next.
Oh,
go.
Wait, no, I'm dumb. It's a 2-player map. Gas steal. Duh. Absolutely duh. I just like blanked out. It's like thinking about honorable pros play. No, they're gonna go steal the crap out of that gas.
Oh sure, yeah.
And look, they're even going around the top sides. They have less time to react to it. This is such a jerk. Or no, okay. You just make sure there's the money for it, and it barely beats the SCV there. Brutal.
Such precise timing. Oh wow.
Feels good, man. Now, the probe does see the building layout here. I think this does enable some micro possibilities for early Zealot pressure, but considering there's no gas in the Protoss base and there's a gateway on the way, should be able to build an early Zealot or two, put it center across the map, just throw a little bit of chaos into your opponent's early build, see how they do it. It's going to work in a simulator, but that'll be a while before it's ready. And a depot going down here, I think that's not what you're looking for, because I think it had to be, there's like a gap if you're using it for a micro. The Blime's still in chat, he could help out with this. I'm sure like he'd be fuming, because I haven't seen this setup before, which usually means it's not a good one.
Well, yeah, there's no gap in the center part where you can actually comfortably move your Marines around, but you can still fit them in between the gap between the barracks and both of the depots. There, see?
Yeah, I gotcha. You can see working on that similar, about to die, so we'll be able to take the gas eventually. No audible, just into a gas to expand instead. And this Jess SCV rolling off to the left, I don't know what it's trying to do. Sounds interesting though. First Zell about halfway across the map though.
Oh, okay. Here, all right. I'm just gonna ESP into the future. That's going to be a proxy factory.
That would be cool. I don't think it's a proxy anything. I think it's just getting it out of harm's way. But, you know, that would be awesome. I would like to see that. But I feel like with the gas being delayed, like, how are you going to afford a proxy factory? Like, that you wouldn't want to put in your main first? Maybe if you're trying to throw them off, it's like, well, I got one factory here. Look, it's one. And you have the second one on the map to, like, throw off the map. But unfortunately, not what we're seeing here. Max, though, not starting their Dragoon range. I think they're planning to get an earlier Nexus. Bunker trying to be made here. One Zell is not going to be enough to deter that, but the second one rolling through. That first Zell does fall down, doing some damage to these Marines. One goes down. The probe kills the second one.
Oh, the probe.
Bunker does finish, and you know, there's still 2 Marines alive. The ground units for pros do die, so the pressure is over. Didn't take anything too critical here, and just has plenty of money. Should be able to expand behind it themselves. Max and start their own Nexus back at home, but they haven't. They've stopped producing units for a little bit, and they still don't have that Dragoon range on the way. So I think for a while, Max is going to have to be pretty defensive. And overall, I don't know if they did enough. Like, the expansion times are tied for the 2 players. That feels good for Terran.
Yeah, I'm going to say no. I think the situation's quite a bit more favorable for Terran here. Not only are we up in workers, but we have the CC being, yeah, as you said, just quite on time with the Nexus and the factory coming up as well. And only now does range start for Max, so he's way behind on that.
Yeah, I mean, as long as you know any real or aggressive stuff early on, which with the gas deal you do delay things. I don't think you have to worry about like delaying the range. So I don't actually mind the decision, but it does mean I think Max is not going to be comfortable enough to move out on the map and try to put any kind of pressure on. So we'll see if they are going to do what we would normally expect this matchup. Here's a Robo. Should be for an Observer on the way. If it was for Reavers, that'd be awesome. But we'll see if it actually ends up being that. I think we are going to see just an attempt to take a third base, get yourself in a decent spot, because we saw how much delayed it got last game. Maybe want to try to avoid that this game instead.
Ooh, okay. We see a second factory for Jess, as opposed to either an engineering bay or an academy, which is kind of standard play for like an upgrade focused 2-1 push. So we might be seeing a setup for an early aggression, maybe like a 5-fact push perhaps.
Well, I mean, like I was saying, like how that game kind of panned out as it went on. Like I wouldn't mind early aggression from Jess instead, and you know, it does kind of throw a little wrench in the gears a little bit. The SUV saw how late the Nexus was. The gas deal does kind of mess up your natural build order, so if you're planning for something like that in mid-game, you know, I don't think it's a bad decision at all from Jess, and if you're not comfortable playing that late game against your opponent, it seems reasonable. Observatory going down, going to help build up that wall of the natural. So we'll see if Max does try to get that third base, or, you know, maybe it'll be some kind of 2-base tech play instead. Range's about to finish, but you can see there's just not that much Protoss units made. Neither for Terran either, but I think Terran's feeling pretty good about that if you're just cautiously at about the same economy and you just get the build up without any care in the world. I think Terran loves that.
Yeah, especially since Protoss is only on 2-base still. As they both power up together, Terran upgrades are a lot more effective than Protoss upgrades, at least in this particular matchup, so Terran's got to be loving it.
Yeah, seems very reasonable. With that probe moving out though to the top left, that should be that third base, which just doesn't have the force to deny it this time, so Max getting to play the normal game feels pretty good if that's going to be the move. Observer on the way as well, so see that's going to go down. Going to get an idea of how many factories am I dealing with, but you got 2 machine shops already done. We'll see if it ends up being any kind of upgrade focus or some kind of mid-game push. Still waiting to kind of see the investment. The Observer will see everything you're looking for though.
Scan comes down for Jess. Happened in the main, so caught wind of the 2-gate robotics. No other tech scanned though. And yeah, I think this is about the normal time Protoss takes the third against Terran, yeah?
Yeah, like this, considering gas deal and things, like you're fine with how this kind of played out.
Yeah.
We saw this is the last game as well. Like this third goes down, and not just hoping vultures don't show up, does actually always, like last game moved a couple of goons there to help out as well. Jess goes for another scan, back in the main, trying to get an idea what's going on, and sees the cyber core spinning, sees only 2 gateways. You know what that means. Time for carriers.
Yeah, I think catching wind on that super early like this is really going to grant Jess quite an edge. At least it should.
Yeah. Now, there is still always the thing, because that first scan didn't see anything, right? And the second scan was so early in there. If you want to just audible out of this, like, you just cancel it and be like, you know what, whatever. You are seeing a decent amount of gateways go down as well, but yeah, there is the audible, but actually still letting the air weapons rock. I like that. If there is another scan to kind of confirm it, the intuit to figure out if this got like aborted would be the amount of gateways, because carriers are very expensive. You can't afford that many gateway production. But if this forces Jess to start building Goliaths that are not going to be that useful, Max could put themselves in a really good spot here with this sharp transition into just adding a crap ton of gateways.
Yeah, I love the mind game here. There's still so much time on that +1 air weapons to cancel it, so to keep it spinning like that, super mind gamey, and I love it.
Honestly, you don't even have to cancel it. It's such a low investment. If you ever want to go carrier in the late game, ooh, that mine goes down.
Ooh,
Did
that
great
mine.
damage. Yeah, that really got messed everything up. Those tanks took so much damage there, and that resets all this pressure. Jess thought there was a window, and you can see the attack didn't quite work out, but look how much money got built up. Dude, with only 2 factories of production, like, you kind of can't spend it, especially if you're just trying to get vultures to reinforce. And the observer's in the base. It sees what's going on. Like, this is a pretty good spot here for Max. Probes are going to get transferred, which there was a vulture over at that side base. So, yeah, don't just roll up in there. You need your stealth.
Ooh, mine hit.
Probes.
Takes out 2 of those probes. Ooh. Get up there and clean up that vulture, and then we can finally get those probes back in business.
Oh, look at the natural, though. Vulture's finding another way in. There's only Zealots here to stop him, so maybe some more chance to kill some probes. Mine's going down, so you gotta be very careful how you defend this. And shows a shuttle being made, so if you weren't sure that it's not carriers, that is the big reveal. It's like, wait, you got a lot of Zealots. You're still making these? More mines going down. Max taking big damage at the natural here. Look at the probe count. It's getting reset pretty heavily here. This is just 2 vultures. This is not exactly ideal. This is pretty hard to
That mine hit. That last mine hit. Oh, it was chef's kiss.
Yeah, it was good, I guess. Whatever. And look, look at this eBay flying into the maze. Like, I'm gonna scout this. Still sees the airwebs, but sees so many gateways. Doesn't see any. There's a Stargate down the bottom side, so I don't know if this will eventually be carriers or that's gonna be like a transition towards arbiters at some point. The fact that I don't think we see a Templar Archives, like it should be for actually carriers, and the eBay's just hanging out. That's so funny.
Yeah, so now for Jess, we finally see the 3rd being floated over. It's going to be that 3rd in the triangular formation that she's chosen. I gotta agree with that, with the high ground being there. And then some additional factories being added on. She could probably get herself back into this game, but still kinda... I don't know, I'm really liking the position for Jess being up that much in workers, you know?
Yeah, I mean, more damage done at the 3rd as well. Max, like, hit in the mid-20s at some point. We'll just try and just muscle our way through the natural. Goon's not going to be enough to stop. These mines are ridiculous. More, like, this is just vultures killing probes this entire time. This is brutal. But this does put Jess in a great spot. Maybe we will get that game 3 finally. See what that map is. Just taking a 4th base as well. Trying to produce back at home. And so much money built up here. Max just trying to hang on fumes. Stargate's
there's nothing in this main. There's nothing to stop these probes from being killed.
No, this has literally just been vultures. Like, not even drops. They just run on in. Like, just find these windows. Like, oh, like, you got this forge. You know you could have built cannons, and then you didn't. Like, after the 3rd, like, vulture raid, I think you just commit to cannons. Just not even deal with this crap anymore. And look, more vultures top left. Like, this is just literally gonna harass to death. Pipeline going through, but there is the entrance on the other side, but you can just muscle your way through as well. Mine's getting laid, and it's like, are you going to be able to save this? There's a decent amount of goons, but the mine's going down, not waiting for the observers. Big damage going through. I hate vultures, man. Tell me this unit's fair and balanced. Why does this not cost gas? Why is this like this?
Soggy.
Just lay a bunch of mines. Just like take all this damage, kill pros. 18, 17 now to 60. Like, what is this, man? There's vultures in the natural. He just is literally harassment until you leave the game. Which I saw Max pop up in chat recently, so this is like not the game you want to roll up in finally for the cast, unfortunately. I'm sorry, Max. You looked great in game 1, buddy. We did praise you then, but this is not going well.
This is a vulture game for sure. For the books, for the records.
This is the game I'm going to show people when I'm like, what do you think the best unit in the game is? It's vultures. And it's like, no, it's Zerglings. I'm like, hey, I got a game to show you. Hold on, let me sell you on why vultures are so good.
It's the best investment ever. You spend 75 minerals and you get 3 mines. But the bonus is it comes with a transportation device that throws grenades.
Well, I mean, the way I pitch it is, like, in the fact that I know there's Terran players that will support either side of it. It's either you're buying 3 mines and it comes with a Happy Meal toy that kills probes instantly, or you're buying a vulture and it comes with 3 grenades that's like, why does this have this? How is this fair? Finally, the GG, the harassment has finally been enough, but that does get us a 1-1 score and ensures we get to see the final map.
Oh, goody. Finally.
Which, I mean, I don't like this map. It's fine to watch. I never want to play on this map. This map sucks. We're on good night for the game decider. And given how some of these games have already gone, I'm very curious to see what strategy we're going to see from these players. We've seen, you know, aggression go wrong. We've seen aggression go right. We'll see if what we'll have in this one. In the top left of good night, in the purple Terran, it is Jess. In the top right, in that green Protoss again, it's maaaaxaxa.
That is magenta, sir, and she has been color faithful.
That is a shade of purple. Is it not? Like, that's not pure green in the top right. You didn't correct me about that, did you?
Damn, dude, you're more colorblind than I am.
It's close enough. You know which one I'm talking about. Like, I'm just going to start learning the hex codes in the top right, in the F3C1214. It's like...
Gotta be real technical for those super mega nerds out there.
Yeah, I mean, I'm casting a Terran player, so yeah, I guess the mega nerds are hanging out.
Oh, get off. Naga.
You literally were the one saying, I like TBT, it's like chess. You're gonna say you're not a mega nerd? Come on.
Alright.
You play a 20-year-old strategy game that makes, and you're like, I like this matchup because it feels like this 1,000-year-old older strategy game.
Alright. Oh, alright. Damn it.
Got
win.
Okay, so we got barracks in the main, as usual. Nothing crazy. Gateway in the main as well. No forward gate or any kind of aggression. Max will get lucky enough to scout first, which is always comforting info. Gas taken for both players as well, so I think we got a little bit of downtime before anything crazy happens. Have you been actually playing in the season so far? How are you doing so far?
Terrible. I'm 1-3 right now. I'm getting my butt whooped.
Oh no. Is this your first season in Tier 1? Or did you get promoted from last season?
Yeah, it's my very first season in Tier 1. But not only that, I switched to Terran, so I'm dealing with like 2 hills to climb instead of 1.
Well, you did it to yourself, but that's great. That's like, you know, always improving in skill is nice to see. And if you even, yeah, you gotta win, like learning a new race in a tier above your new tier. That seems pretty reasonable. I like Jess's move to check the center for a proxy. Very legitimate strategy I hear for Protoss, so respecting that it could be an option seems pretty reasonable. Factory start, guys pulled off the gas, should be a Terran expansion.
Legitimate strategy.
Okay, if it has a real chance to win you games, it's a legitimate strategy to get you wins.
Uh-huh. Sure. I'll still dip my fries in it, though.
What? I've never heard that saying. What does that mean?
Like, it's like nacho cheese? It's cheesy.
I mean, yeah, sure. Like, yeah, sure, it's cheesy, but It's like we're not playing the no rush 15 league. Like this is like cheese is viable. There's nothing wrong with cheesy players, especially if they have a reputation for it. I admire like when someone you know they're cheesy, they just keep doing it anyway. Because Bunker tries to go down, and Zell is going to force it off. The Marine's going to try to dance around. Micro's pretty good so far, but lose the SCV. It's going to delay the bunker, kind of delay things a little bit for Jess. So this Zell already kind of doing a little bit of what it needs to. SCV Scout is going to get revenge on a probe. Nope. It tried.
Not quite. Range on the way. Zealot still moving in at the natural there. Ooh, is it going to pick off another SCV? No, not with this Vulture here.
Yeah, not with this Vulture. The fun's over now that the Vulture's here, but here comes that first Dragoon. Range is not done, but reasonably on the way. Nexus has been started for Max, so I think Pro's play looking pretty reasonable so far. Managed to pick off Elijah Marines is pretty comforting here, but you don't want to lose this first Goon. Takes a lot of damage. And I think we're only down to 1 Marine left. Bunker does finish, but the CC hasn't even been started yet. Finally goes down, but that is a pretty notable delay, I think. Max's spot looking pretty good.
Yeah, I don't know if the difference is, big enough to really be considerable. I think they're both kind of on even ground right now, but, they have to consider worker counts as well, with Max still being down just 1 probe.
Yeah, no, it's marginal. It's not that big a deal. But compared to like last game when the Nexus and the Caesar started like at the same second, like this definitely feels a lot better.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Max still kind of committing to the same thing. We're looking like we are going to get another Robo. Even though we have seen different choices after this step, it still feels like just getting those fast observers, getting a reasonably fast third Nexus seems to be the plan, as it usually is for Protoss, because why wouldn't you? It's so easy, it makes so much sense to do so. We'll see when Jess wants to add on more factories and what they're doing here. Only 2 mining the gas in the main. I hope that's not a mistake and that will be adjusted later, because if that is like one of those, oops, I forgot to add the third, that will be a problem. Gets
and
fixed
as you say that,
as I bring it up, thank God. Nice.
That'll be a significant gas cost if this is a... Well, see, it doesn't really matter what Jess plans on doing now. It's just going to be delayed because either it's add more facts or it's drop an armory and an academy or eBay and start working towards upgrades. But either way, it's going to be a little bit of a delay now, and Max starting to catch up. Now evening out the worker count. 2 gateways, robotics, observers are out, or at least on the way. Full wall off. I mean, things are looking good here for both players. I can't pull out like who has a lead.
I don't think anyone has anything just yet. There's such minor disruption. I don't think anything's really gone bad. But given how some of these mid games have gone, I think Max's plans tend to be a little bit better. But just was doing such a good job on Butter finding angles of attack to get some damage done. But the observer's going to move right on across, see exactly what's going on here, and I think as long as Max can defend against some of that pressure a little bit better, not take such big losses, and get comfortably into the mid game, like they've got the 3 gateways. If they take their third base soon, especially if it's up, I would want them to take it over to 3 o'clock, so it's a little easier to defend. They have to clear the mine, and they just go into Arbiter tech. Like all the really normal standard stuff, like we saw in game 1, the standard play looks really solid as long as they don't get messed with too much, where it's not an option to do so.
Yeah, I definitely agree. So with this observer coming into the main base here, I'm going to spot, okay, there's missile turrets, so when eBay, that means Terran's going to play a little bit blind. Only 2 factories. You're probably feeling pretty comfortable right now with this position you're in as Protoss. Yeah,
2 factories, they both got machine shops. I don't know if we got far enough to actually see the armory, but not seeing like a science facility or adding on extra factories. It's just with 2 machine shops, you're expecting to see more tanks get out and a little more robustness, so if you keep an eye on the Terran army, make sure it doesn't move out like unexpected roll up to your base out of nowhere. You get this third base up soon, and you're going to be in a decent spot. Observer's going to go over to that 3 o'clock so the probe can kill off this mine, start their own Nexus. So, yeah, this is, compared to the other games, this is so stock standard from both players. It's going to really be in the mid game who's going to maybe be a little greedier if there's an attack and how well it goes. Because we've seen a little bit on both sides, attacks going well and not so great.
And stock standard's good. This is what we want to see in CPL. The objective is to improve, and to wholly improve as a player means to be able to work off of a standard build formation against, whatever particular race you're up against.
now you say that, but then you're all about that one base, too sexy for you game, so...
Oh, because it's so friggin' cool.
See, that's the duality of CPL. Like, you should be here to improve and do anything, and then there's people like that. It's like, but I got this great idea. Hear me out.
And then when you don't do standard, you don't. You're like, oh, I put my hands together and rub them. Like, oh, you're so naughty.
Yeah, we just we need to have a group of players that are just like they live so far in the past. It's like they play bills that only came out in like 2003. It's like it's standard if you traveled back in time. I mean, we'll see how things are going. Factories looking like they're going to get added on for Jess here. Wonder if they're going to try to take a third base, because like that middle base ain't going to be the one you want to take as Terran, so you have to kind of expand out a little bit more, probably towards that 9 o'clock or maybe the 12 instead. Like taking third base here, if you can get it set up, shouldn't be too bad, but it is a little bit further away from your natural than you're used to on some of the other maps. Seeing Gateway's getting added on, and with there is a Citadel working on legs. I wonder when we're going to see like Temple Archives move towards things, but this might just be like a flood of some speed cells going through, planning to make some kind of big mid-game attack, which it can be dangerous. It can be very dangerous.
Well, I see things are still looking so standard. So the scans went down for Jess, caught the gateway count, and caught the Citadel of Adun, but that's it. And is adding on the factories right now, but I think is a little bit behind. See, she should either be taking a third base right about now, or actually have it, or have a much higher factory count for a 2-base sort of all-in. But either way, needs to have way more than this. Great tank count for sure, well, but I mean, where are the vultures?
I mean, we see the size facility, the second armory, everything's lined up, so I don't think there's any kind of move out of you soon. I think you're waiting for at least 2-1. Like, you're not really in a bad spot as Jess. You're just kind of building up here. And he's got plenty of SCVs for what we're seeing on 2 base. I just wonder if they're going to attempt to take the third, or if they're just going to build up, wait for 2-1 to finish, and then just move out with probably a nearly maxed army.
Well, with 2 more additional factories being added on, I think this might be a little bit more 2-base focused, but we'll have to wait and see. +1 attack just finished for mech, and it's 10.5 minutes in. Usually that finishes a lot earlier, and we have 2-1 done and ready by 12.5. That's not going to be the case this time.
No. And back in Protoss, more gateways being added. No real tech investment just yet, but maybe up to the top side. There's a Stargate, so no, we'll get something eventually. There's a Temple Archives as well, so we'll eventually be Arbiters, but I think just for the mid-game, Max was making sure they had plenty of army to play with to go to a little gateway man, and feeling like they're a good spot. I see a lot of pros that are moving around the map. I don't know if it's scouting or thinking about taking their next base, but you got a probe down at the bottom right. They take the nexus there, get that 4th base up without any real contest, and before those vultures show up, that'd be pretty good here, because Jess is not in a position to really kind of try and push out and stop that from happening. But you can see that supply for Terran already starting to catch up a little bit with all these factories trying to produce, doing a much better job spending the money in this game. And Nexus has been started, but the probe does die. No cannons to help defend this.
There's also a probe situated at the 12 o'clock as well, so that could be a nice backup 4th. Of course, it could be the 5th if this Protoss force moves in down to the bottom right, which it looks like it's going to, so that'll secure that. And now it looks like tanks have unsieged. We're starting to move out. Just wants to poke out and seize a little bit more territory. We'll kind of see where it goes from here. Terran really should wait for the max out in the 2-1 before really moving out, though. But this is okay for now.
Yeah, I mean, it's just how open the middle of this map is. If you want to have stuff on that high ground right by the 12 base, you have stuff in the middle, you got lanes like all over. You can have a big gateway army spread out in so many different angles, and they move down from that high ground if they try to push forward at all, even if it's just to secure the 12. Which, that probe, I don't know if it's going to take the 12. I think that pilot might just try to see if CC moves out over there, because you see all the army is leaned more towards the south side. So it's like, you'll know if they expand upwards, but otherwise you're just confident they're on 2 bases.
Right, we still have the same gate count for Max, but doing a pretty good job of macroing out units. More reinforcements continue to come out. Max approaches maxed out pretty quickly, and Jess still has a little bit of work to do, +1, +0, so we're still waiting on the 2-1, but I reckon once that finishes, we might see a push out from Terran, but Max is already in a great position, having spread his army. Like a beautiful concave.
Yeah, it's still going to be pretty rough, and actually it was pointed out, Refrigerator eagle-eyed to catch it. There's only 2 guys in the main mining gas, which, considering Max is starting to get gas starved, not great, but look at all his army. Like I was saying, this route could be pretty good. There's not that many Zealots trying to go through. Zealots moving forward. Mines are going to get dragged in, not going to make good connections, but the tanks are up at the front here. All the vultures are behind, not helping out. So many Zealots stay alive. The tank's basically all dead here. So many goons still left alive, and again, Jess pushing out into spot maybe just a little bit too early. They had the upgrades, but the positioning wasn't what you're looking for. But actually, on the second wave of this, without the Zealots, like, the goons have to back off, wait for reinforcements. That push gets stopped pretty quickly. You got Protoss on 4 bases comfortably here. And Jess still hasn't taken the third, so this whole spot, you're waiting for Arbiters to develop. You're going to have those spells, and finally the third gets started, but it's at that low ground mineral. Oh god, that base is the worst. Oh no.
It's the logical one to take, but walking this back a little bit, during that fight, 2-1 had finished. The second part of the attack upgrade had finished about 60% of the way into that fight, and you notice when the tide changed when that occurs. So it really showcases the absolute value of getting that +2 attack. It's such a big deal.
Yeah, absolutely. It makes the tank so much more robust. Just actually taking a 9 o'clock as well. Maybe just had the money to spend taking the attempt at it. You know, Max's army did kind of get eliminated a little bit. We're getting a 5th base down the bottom side, but here comes Vulture Raid. The classic Just move, gonna roll on through. There's a couple cannons at least in this base, and Army's gonna go down there. This, if they can stop this Nexus, not bad. Does force to cancel, but if
very
you
nice.
lose all these vultures, that's a pretty hefty investment.
Oh, these mines.
Yeah,
oh,
mines do pretty big damage. Vulture's trying to go through to kill the cannon on the bottom and get behind the minerals. Of course, Jess finds the angle to kill the probes. God damn it.
these probe slaughters. Oh man, excellent harassment play right here. These kinds of things really do add up, little by little.
Yeah, I just honestly I like the way Jess plays though. These vultures are pretty active on the map, really kind of drawing Max's army a little bit out of position because. With everything there, I think you do have a hard choice. Like, well, what if you just went and attacked? It's like, if they're here, they're not guarding the tanks. If you're making all these vultures, you're not making all these tanks. Like, there could be an opportunity to get some damage done. Now, arbiters have been done for a while. There's one building up energy at the top, but it's not with the army. We see an EMP going down just for the shield damage, and mine goes off. It's good. The siege mode as well. Higher event. Like, this is a hard attack to go into. You don't have that many zealots. Will they be able to get up there? I think that EMP actually did a lot of good damage, but the reinforcements go through. A lot of tanks are going to fall, and that might be one step too far for the Terran player. They're going to have to evacuate that 9 o'clock CC, reset the tank count again, and now that low ground mineral base is looking just super hard to defend.
There's just too many. The Dragoons just pour in and just charge right up that ramp. I love it. Just force your way right in. You got the unit count. Why not?
Yeah, might as well. You can see a big supply lead now from Max after winning that victory. Probe that was up at the 12 is now just moving across the map for reasons unknown. Not really sure. Those are observers going to poke through, see how many tanks are there. But without zealots, I don't know if you really want to go for that. But if they're really reinforcing that base, there's definitely a window up by that high ground in front of the natural to kind of split through, stop the reinforcements if you keep reinforcing. Or, you know, you could wait for your arbiters, wait till they have energy for recalls or anything like that as well.
Ooh, this arbiter's coming in right on the 3rd.
Alright.
There we go.
Yeah, Army's pretty far away for that, but still, it's a good stasis. Knocks out about half the force. Zealots are dragging some mines forward into the stasis tanks. They're not doing damage, but still, that's going to be able to get all those mines cleared out. The goons going through. There's still a couple tanks alive, sieging up behind it, doing the damage they can, but this might just be too many goons here. Tanks in the back finally taking some damage. So Slido buying a lot of time. The stasis is really kind of making a big difference here. I think with these reinforcements, Protoss will be able to break through and stop this base, and that's going to put Jess back functionally on one base just in the natural, which at this point has got to be nearing mined out.
Yeah, so the reinforcements here from Protoss really made all the difference here. This would not be going this well had the first attack not been reinforced. And we even see this Arbiter coming in from the south, but it only has 92 energy. So coming up on a stasis again, we can possibly take out this third and march right on up and stasis again and just kind of rinse and repeat what we've been doing.
I mean, I think you just take this, you kill the CC, you're good. Because like I said, look at the natural here. It's like each of these patches is less than 200 minerals, and now Jess is gonna have to build another CC or like fly it there. They got the one hanging out. They're actually building another one on site when they have the one just floating next to it. Like, you don't have to build another one.
Oh, maybe she forgot about it. That'd be unfortunate.
I mean, Arbiter's here. Now is going to be nearing 100 energy soon again. We got one with the stasis, one getting close to it. EMP! Oh, beautiful
baby.
hits both Arbiters. I hate that spell. All my homies hate that spell. They do. They did a great job making sure that Arbiter does not get to get a beautiful stasis off and make that fight even worse. We'll save that base for now. Actually, the building got stopped, so hopefully that got noticed. Because the SME is right next to it.
Yeah, I gotta be actually building to finish the building. Oh no. Oh no.
Yeah, I mean, meanwhile, look at Max down the bomb side. They're up to 5 bases, starting on a 6th one as well. They still get the pilot up at 12, which, so you know there's been no action to take that kind of base. One Vulture, how the fuck is one Vulture at the 5th base?
Behind the found a way in.
Oh man, that's just a tilter, but it is not going to be enough. Jess knows how bad the spot is with that base being secured, and Max is going to take that 2-1. Nice, interesting games for both players. Max's macro, especially in the mid game, pretty impressive for a tier 1 player. Absolutely.
Definitely. Way to turn things around game 1. Macro your way through the next. Wow, just great series overall, I must say.
Yeah. It seems pretty good to me, and especially for a PBT, sometimes, you know, you get a little bit of snore action, but Vulture staying active, a little bit of different strategies, so I think that was a fun series. We do got one more, and of course I put it as the title card, the last one. It's AgGe. He's back for more. He's playing Zerg again. What's going to happen? Who knows, but we're going to get started on our series. Back on Polypoint for the final set of the night. We got another ZVP heading your way.
Oh boy, more ZVP. Just what I'm qualified to comment on.
Hey, it's fine. It's AgGe. I don't know what he's going to do either. In the bottom right, in the orange Protoss, it's JustoLamas. In the top left, in the yellow Zerg, it's iRk-AgGe.
It's yellow.
Hmm?
Yeah. That's pale yellow.
Really? Really, bro? Alright. Well, you know, it was fun casting with you for a time. It was interesting. It was cool. You know, if you just want to ruin a good thing that we had, I thought we had something special.
Didn't mean it like that.
It's all good, man. I don't care. So, it looks like we're not going to get too sexy for you crazy polyput shenanigans. We're looking like we are going to get some kind of wall with the scout going out. Should be that forge expand for JustoLamas. AgGe has an Overlord on the way. We'll see if it is. Because, like, AgGe has the reputation for doing the weird stuff, as we all know. But when the weird stuff happens, like, it could be really early, it could be a little bit later, or it could be just being stuff that's a little bit off, where it's like, you used to see an overpool, no pool's been started. This could just be like a hatchery first, which, if your opponent, you got cross scout, they don't see you in time, that can put you in a great spot just to know what you're going for. Or an 11 pool, just to make it weird.
11 pool?
Some crap I don't know the time, whatever. AgGe, okay. Just see, like, we don't know what we're doing.
What is this Zerk sorcery?
I mean, you don't have to build your pools in, like, multiples of, like, 9. Like, it doesn't have to go 9 or 12 and it's the only choices.
I mean, I don't know. The Koreans have mapped this game out so well, and we kind of just follow their lead. But yeah, you're right. It doesn't necessarily have to be.
Yeah, I mean, you say the Koreans, but there's not that many Korean Zergs in ASL anymore. They're getting taken over. You got like a couple stalwarts, and that's like all you get. It's like Soma and Queen and like Action. There's like so few that are still hanging around trying to do their thing.
And Hero never goes anywhere.
Oh, I mean, considering by his roles, I would say he doesn't really go anywhere anymore. Kapow! Got him.
Damn, sir. You need to sit down. Alright, so 6 Zerglings. Alright, so I'm gonna put on a little bit of pressure here.
Yeah, I mean, seems reasonable. Force your opponent to respect what you're doing. One cannon is made, and because of how this wall is, like, I don't know if you could pull pros. I think you might have to actually invest in the second one if you think these lanes are going to move across. One's going to chase the probe, so it's just the 5. You might be able to get away with it. The gateway will go there and look like it's going to be able to block that hole in the middle with the probe. So, you know, I think it should be okay. Not going to put the aggression on. But what's AgGe going to do from here, especially once he kills his probe? Because, look, gas hasn't been taken yet. So it's not like an attempt to get a fast lair. Wonder if it will be some kind of reaction to getting some kind of Hydra Den. The third base should be taken soon for AgGe. If you can kill that probe.
Do you see it yet?
Oh, I do. See,
oh, yeah.
This is AgGe, man. It's like, knowledge means nothing. When you're like, what does a Zerg do? That's a fantastic question. What does Zerg do? Well, it doesn't matter. It's what AgGe does. So he actually has 3 on the map, but also plenty of money made. And if AgGe drone scouts you, you better keep track of where that drone is.
See, this is such a smart play because even if Protoss was scouting properly, and you see the timing of the third and the 3 hatches, everything looks normal. Now he's getting his gas, it looks normal. So you have no way of suspecting that this hatch is here.
I mean, but again, like, reputations precede certain players, right? You should just give it a sweep. If you're against AgGe, just give it a sweep. Just give it a look. It takes you 5 seconds. So you go to, like, build, like, your cybercore. Just send it out real quick. So it's going to move out. Hold position on these Zerglings. So actually 2 Zerglings go down here. Not exactly what you're looking for. But still, if you're focusing attention not in your main, looks pretty good. Making a drone. All right. Let's build Sunkens.
And I've got the vision turned off, so I'm waiting to see when the creep starts becoming visible for the first time.
It's not going to be for a while. See, that's the problem here. So he's going to have plenty of time to make this creep colony, to make the Sunken protect it, and then he's going to build lings behind it as well. We'll see. Ling speed just being started now. And again, with that scout dying, Lamas doesn't really have an idea of how late things are. A lot of lanes being made moving out to the front here. They won't have speed, but if they can get the surround on these Zealots, that'll be pretty good here. Lamas, oh, he takes the engage. He's going to take some big damage here. These Zealots getting very bruised up, which you might need those to defend your main. And look, the reveal. Here's some lings. How'd they get in there? I don't know.
The one Sunken's up, another one's going to go down, and he's just going to push his way forward. And Corsair is not the answer here, so a little bit concerned for JustoLamas.
I mean, getting some kind of scouting info is probably still not a bad idea, because I can't go up at the front. Those Zealots, remember how bruised they are? Oh, that Sunken is going to just make this a nightmare. Second one going down as well. Going to be able to keep making plenty of these as well. There is an Overlord here. That's going to get knocked out, which, you know, that actually... I will be...
Gets the cannon. Gets the Zealot. Speed kicks in. Excellent surround. And that Zealot's just one shy hit away from being killed, but in the main base, so many Zerglings have hatched, and the Sunkens are now pushing in. This is just AgGe's game gone completely right.
Okay, AgGe. Okay, buddy. So he kills off all the pylons in the base, so no cans available, nothing's powered, can't make anything. So anything he's producing out of better be at the natural instead, which is already kind of choked up. So he's got basically 1 gateway's worth of production. It's not going to be enough. Llama taps out, and that's not the game you want to start your set with, but it's the game I wanted to see.
This is that thing you were talking about, where we were going over about, you know, standard and macro and what's protocol in this matchup, and then now there's cheese, and we love it.
Well, see, here's the thing. Like, I picked the group, and I'm like, all right, who's in what groups? Ooh, AgGe's in this one. This group hasn't been claimed. I'm going to claim this one. I want to watch an AgGe game. So it's like, I got my nice healthy dinner of like CPL games, and then AgGe is my like egregious Sunday dessert ice cream that's like so rich. And then that 260 for you game was also like this ice cream as an appetizer too. It's too much. It's like I wasn't ready for it.
Bro, you're making me hungry.
Max, if you're telling me if I cheese, I'm more likely to be casted. Depends. You got to build a reputation for it, and then your coaches might hate you. We'll see. We're on game 2, back in butter, in the top right, in the white Protoss, JustoLamas, and in the bottom right, in the black Zerg, black like his heart. He's vicious. It's AgGe.
White versus black, like a chess match.
Yeah, like a chess match. All right, well, so to equate this to chess, like AgGe has a teleporting rook that just goes to your backline. He just makes the hatchery. It's like, oh, that's not how this works. He just has like a unit you've never seen before.
But just him, no one else, just AgGe.
Well, no, there's definitely a couple CPL players with their reputations for some of the varieties of shenanigan play. Like people are familiar with G.O.S.U as well, to throw a curveball every now and well, just every game, like all the time.
Man, Barisu just does his own thing, and I gotta respect it.
Okay, so like you're in this league, like you help with casting. Here's a player. Think of yourself as a coach, though. Like, if you like that he's like a fun, free spirit, cool. But if you're like a serious, hard-nosed coach, like, no, I'm gonna teach you how to prove, and they're just like, they're having none of your lessons.
I don't know. See, I think if you're a coach, you gotta go in with the mindset of you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink.
I mean, yeah, sure. Like, I guess that's a fair mindset, but I always just wonder how coaches feel about some of these kind of like free spirit players. I mean, also like if they just want to do their own thing and they acknowledge that, that's fine too. Like, it's like, I'm just gonna play my style and have a good time. And hey, CPL has many appeals for many players here. This probe gonna try to get the scouting info. It was an overpool opener with a forge expand. They're not seeing too many lings being made because this pool isn't done yet, so should be able to get this nexus down without too much issue. The drone sneaks in. Will it happen again? Will you track this one? You see it just go straight downward.
No. No. Okay, he's not banking. Alright.
Well, I mean, if it's in the maid, it's like, you can just get a reaction right now. Like, oh, look, the drone got in, and you just purposely go down. You're never going to make a hatchery, but maybe you, like, get a panic, like, oh, crap, not again. Because it's in here. You're going to have to deal with this thing, because what if it's just there for a long time? At what point does AgGe just have 300 minerals and be like, okay, fine, if you're going to let me do it?
Oh, geez. Well, it does continue scouting around, gathering the information. One cannon, Nexus timing, scouted. And the reaction from AgGe is, oh, see, now he's got 4 Zerglings chasing this probe down. That's interesting. Usually it's 1 or 2, right? So
yeah, you don't need to do this many. I think he's hoping to get in a good spot. But he knows, I think that drone saw, it's like, I'm probably not going to get any damage done, so no point in me trying to force the issue. He gets the drone out of the base. That's going straight to the 3rd base location here, which, Llamas, if they can get an idea what's going on, but these lanes get forced out of the base. Those having those lanes there could wall off the main, make sure you don't get back in to get info. And then you got to play the game. Is it Hydras? Is it Lair? Like, AgGe does some wild stuff, but he does play the normal game on occasion too. Like, he can play it quite well, so you can't just assume it's a giant mystery nonsense game all the time.
Right. It's messing with my mind right now. I'm trying to navigate this game. AgGe's just found a way to throw me off completely, so now I'm just like on edge looking for any minor detail and coming up with an excuse to say this is something weird or cool.
Yeah, when you get players like this, I think that's like the worst thing you can do against them is just overanalyze and overread into their situations. Like,
yeah.
Like, they can use their reputation against you. It's like, I think it's something that a lot of people tend to say is like the cheesiest thing a cheese player could do is just play normal.
Right, yeah. I think like the mental aspect of this game really is like at least a third of everything it takes to play this game. mind games are just such a real thing. And it's really cool that we get that dynamic in CPL because we kind of start to learn who each other are. Whereas on ladder, you don't really get that so much.
Nah, not so much. You know, barcodes and just jumbles of letters is not a personality trait, unfortunately. The Zealot does go pretty far forward. These lanes might be able to get us around on. The Larry's going to finish, and the probe manages to sneak in. He's going to get the scouting info. So notice not Hydra, sees that's Larry. No Spire started just yet.
Cool, so the move here is just going to be droning up a little bit. There's the Spire, so now we have Spire. I'm going to plant it at the interesting location at the natural. This probe should be able to rescout that. And just kind of chasing around these Zealots until finally 3 are seen. They push out and apply some pressure, gotta fall back. And yeah, responding with a creep colony. I think this is all normal.
Yeah. And look at Llamas this game. Since shenanigans have happened, we get to see what they're about. And looks like they're going to go +1 air weapons to go with their Corsairs as well. Hasn't started their Forge upgrade yet, which is a little surprising. I usually see the ground upgrade first, but if you want to have that air superiority, really kind of kill a lot of Overlords and put your opponent in a weird place, that could be enough. Zealots are going to poke around here, and Llama, they never scouted where AgGe actually took his third. I wonder if those Zealots, they had opportunity to kind of roll up in there with the one Sun could be enough to defend. The probe went down to the more common third along that like 6-7 o'clock location. But that's not where AgGe took it, and hopefully Llamas does figure it out, not just assume it's 2 base and I'm gotta get ready for something. Again, use that player reputation against you. If you think it's gonna be weird, there's nothing weird about it, it's just in a different location.
Yeah, I don't think he sent anything up there to that third base to see it, so I think he's playing blind there to how many bases that AgGe truly has. But he's sending the probe around a little bit again, tucked it away in the corner, and AgGe just didn't go back for it. So he gets another free scout, but it looks like it'll get picked off this time.
Yeah, it finally goes down, but like this is like an alarmingly low amount of information that probe saw. It's like you look in the base, there's not more hatcheries being made. Like there's the Spires, sure. We're actually seeing carapace going, so we're actually going to see a reasonable investment in the air units from AgGe. It's not going to just be enough mutas to make you build something. It's like this is actually going to be a pretty hefty investment here. You see how much gas actually being mined from the natural already, kind of going to be able to add on to this force. Now, fortunately, there's a lot of Corsairs being built up. Scourge didn't manage to reset that at all. +1 air weapons is over halfway done because it'll start so early. So Llama's actually in a great spot for what AgGe has ended up doing, depending on how aggressive he wants to move out. If he waits for the air armor, it'll be a lot better. Ooh, Scourge trying to move forward here. There is a cannon, but sees how many and sees the core spinning, so should know what's going on here. Will AgGe keep committing to this air battle?
Well, he's got +1 armor, that's about 40% done, and a nice handful of mutas at the third base, 8, 9 in fact, so yeah, gonna commit to this, and with Scourge on the way, lots of Scourge, wow. Yeah, he's gonna go Ogre Gamerzerg.
Unfortunate, I think. Llamas like to move around this giant Zealot army. Legs hasn't even started yet.
Oh, shoot,
that's
really?
like the Citadel's done, but maybe skipped over that one. That is a troubling one because you won't notice that until you go into fight and be like, why are they so slow? Oh no. And look at the Muta Scourge going into the main here. Zealots are on the move. Corsairs so far away here. And one cannon is not going to delay any of this at all. It does lose a couple Scourge, but oh, here come the Mutas. Corsairs immediately got to turn around. So many Scourge still alive. And so you're going to have the one who pops out. It gets canceled. You notice now you're going to survive here. Will these Corsairs be able to do enough? Scourge getting spread out here. 6 Corsairs available. Now it's 3. Oh, the Mutas are going to take this fight so handily. And again, the Zealots on the map going for the third that's not there.
The High Templars just popped out in front of him. Yeah, now he's going to chase these down and get free picks on both of these High Templars. Oh, that's extremely painful to lose your first Templar.
Yeah, this is not great. Now, the Zealots are going to move forward into the National. They do have +1 weapons about to finish, but not done yet, actually. So these Zerglings are actually going to fight a little bit better. One Sun is not going to be enough, but still, it's going to buy enough time for the Mutas to come back home, clean this up, and then, like, AgGe still going to have a very good Air Force. They're actually reinforcing more Mutas on top of it after resetting the Corsair count, and man, this is going to be very hard. Like, the damage that's being done is pretty good here, but then the Mutas can go on the map, and how do you stop them?
Most notably here for this little engagement, +1 air Carapace finished just before the Spire was taken down. Just before.
Well, that's good at least. Unfortunate to lose the Spire, but still, you got quite the air fleet at this point here. Now, if you're JustoLamas, like you can see, starting to rework on that Corsair account, adding on gateways as well. Storm is done. How many Templars did he have? Just 2. And so starting to build up energy. 1 doesn't have enough just yet. Man, the fleet of Mutas in the main, more than 12. They're just gonna roll up in here. There's a couple cannons and a couple Corsairs as well. So where do you go with these Mutas to kind of get some damage done? 1 DT goes over to that third base, finally finds it, but there's a Sunken and a couple Overlords, so this shouldn't be able to get too much damage done. I like the move, but you roll up in there and be like, oh man, how long has that been there?
Oh wow. Gets 4 drones, that was unexpected.
More than I thought, yeah. That's definitely surprising.
So the thing here, the situation that AgGe is in, regardless of the fact that he has map control, his low drone count is kind of going to bite him in the butt here. So I really expect him to start droning up, but I mean, he's just got lurkers in production, a hatchery. Where are the workers, man?
So because he lost that Spire, right? I think he's actually working on setting up for some kind of attack soon, because you don't want this Muta flock to lose its effectiveness. So adding on the lurkers, forcing your opponent to make sure they have enough ground army, have to split how they're using the storms to kind of be effective here, and don't let them build up too much. You see it, Labs here is mainly building Zealot Templar, so lurkers could be very effective. You can see they're starting to move out onto the map here. Muta's still back at home to help defend if needed. There's a Zealot hanging down at the 6 o'clock. There was a DPT roaming around on that bottom left as well. Not getting anything done just yet. And it looks like Lamas is trying to be comfortable enough to go for another base. Ling C is the attempt to take that top left third, though. See if AgGe wants to do anything about it.
Ooh, is this actually secretly the move? If we look, JustoLamas doesn't even have robotics started. So there's no way to see these lurkers unless they walk up too far to a cannon.
Yeah, it's not great. You can see already kind of setting up outside. You still have storms available if you need to kind of get the damage done. Robot is being started, but it's being started at the natural, so if they break through, that dies so fast, just like the Spire ended up. Zealots are going to move back home, trying to get some damage done, but the Mutas are just waiting for them. That's not going to be a problem at all. Or are they just going to keep reinforcing that third base over, or that third location that's commonly taken that doesn't have any units there? New Corsairs on the map. They got the +1. It's a group of 6, pretty strong here. Zealots gonna move towards AgGe's third base, but the Mutas are doing damage going through. There's lurkers and sunk as well. But what are these Corsairs gonna do? The Mutas very spread out. Are the Corsairs gonna try to fight this?
Oh no, not on top of the spore colonies, not at all.
Well, I mean, if they're not trying to fight, ooh, great opportunity if you want to kill a bunch of Overlords, but there are spores, gotta respect them, taking some free damage, but Mutas move out into the middle of the map instead. Storm's going down still on these lurkers, but there's not that much army. If you can go out and pick off some of these Templars, that'd be pretty good here. AgGe going to go for it. Getting supply block going for it. Templars trying to cast storms. The Mutas not taking too much here. Only 9 still available. Just a couple cannons down to 1. No more anti-air here. AgGe going to get very critical damage, I think. And
I think that's it.
Yeah, what happened to those Corsairs? I saw there was a group. Now I see just 1. What happened to those?
That's it. They got gunned down by Hydras, man, and the spore colonies. AgGe did such a great job setting up these spore colonies ahead of time for this fight.
Beautiful move. You see the damage going down, that natural getting evacuated. A lot of probes do go down. There is still that base up at the top left, but that's not even actually mining yet. There's no probes there, so you can see if these Mutas are going to be able to kill off this base, kill off that Templar Archives, the Robo. Oh, that'd be beautiful. You get these kind of big important tech buildings killed off.
This game is wild. I thought just a few minutes ago standing JustoLamas had nice advantage, but now we look and it's just AgGe's just found another way to just dismantle a Protoss player.
I mean, so this is why I always wonder, you never really see heavy investment in Mutas in this matchup anymore, but it's it looks like it's not working until it just destroys the game, like what we see here. Once the anti-air isn't enough, or you take one good fight, Mutants like snowball their advantage so fast. You can see how bad it's actually going to be. The Robo going down here, so you're going to be Maslow. Come on! Okay, good. Does kill it. Don't let that happen. Corsair's going to try to move forward. Goon's being made as well to try to help out. His Muta's down to 7 now, starting to get pretty bruised up, so I don't know how much more you want to keep leaning this, but AgGe did a lot of good damage. Look at the supply count now. I think the Mutas have more than done their job at this point, because now you got no storms available, like you can't make Templars, right? And you're starting to really build up this pretty scary Hydra army. This is going to be pretty bad when he goes for attack when you don't have storms to be defensive. I don't actually see Templars anywhere.
Yeah, and now we see that exact move out. AgGe knows he sniped the Templar archives. No High Templars. Well, now is the time. March the entire army across, just a move.
And he still has a couple mutas if they really need to here. But this ground army from Protoss, you know, only 1-0, so even the upgrades aren't that great. The numbers aren't that great either. AgGe pulling up over by that top left area, which has so many cannons, that's not where you gotta attack, right? You gotta go for the natural. So we'll see. Not that much army for Llamas. He's gonna try to retreat. AgGe gonna poke forward, see the defense. Is he still gonna try it anyway? Looks like he might actually. Seems surprising given how defensive it is, but if you kill this base...
he'll break that.
Yeah, I just, like, if you go and kill the natural, you can contain the army, you can kill some of the production buildings. It's like, then this base doesn't even matter, you can throw stuff at it later. Okay, actually, he has enough army to do both, fuck it.
Yes, yeah, he has the Hydras there sniping off High Templars that come through. So yeah, both positions here. I think this is the nail in the coffin, and AgGe's gonna seal the deal. There it is, GG.
Yeah, well played from AgGe. And Llamas, there's definitely some good moves, but once things got out of position and the Mutas found that attack in the main, I think that's when AgGe started getting some good value. Does get us a 2-0 victory for AgGe. He did a great job there, which I think end of the day we go through it. It ended up being 3-2 for United. So good job for them, but it was a reasonably close series for Tier 1 play. A lot of 2-0s, but still some pretty exciting games. Had a good time watching them. Is the end of the cast of what we got tonight. Forte, thanks for joining me, dude.
Yeah, absolutely. It was my pleasure being here, and thanks for having me.
Yep. As he mentioned earlier, he will be casting something, maybe over the weekend, maybe early next week, so keep an eye on that. Cast earlier than we do, so, you know, if you're EU-friendly time slot, seems pretty reasonable. But that's going to be it for us tonight. We'll raid somebody as we usually do, but other than that, everyone, you have a good night.